Summer is over and college football back again at the Jersey Shore. Third straight year that Summer is over and college football back again at the Jersey Shore. Third straight year that Monmouth and Lafayette play a non-conference game in September. Hawks try to make it 3 straight next on ESPN. Certainly good to be back with you here in West Long Branch, New Jersey. He's Eddie Acapinti. I'm Matt Harmon. Good to be back. Good to have college football again. That's the theme going into this one today.
Now, week 2, Matt, in the college football season officially, but both Monmouth and Lafayette looking for their respective first wins. But I'm with you, partner. We're so excited that there's action back on the gridiron. Should be a good one here this afternoon.
Let's go back a little bit, see what both of these teams did in week 1. Coaches always say, right, you make the biggest jump from week 1 to week 2. Both are hoping and looking for win number 1s today. Lafayette, difficult loss last week down at William & Mary, one of the top teams, one of the top conferences out of the CAA.
Well, John Garrett was very excited about his team's effort in that game. Lafayette led at halftime 10-6 and then fumbles on 3 consecutive second-half possessions, ultimately doomed what normally is a very good Lafayette team as far as taking care of the football. They need to figure out some things as far as finding their quarterback, finding their rhythm. But the one thing we know for sure about this team, like their coach said, they're going to bring it each and every Saturday.
Year number 3 for John Garrett, so you feel like his roster's moving in the right direction. How about year number 27 for Kevin Callahan? He's been the only coach in school history here in Monmouth. They were on the road last week, FBS opponent, Western Michigan. Score maybe a little misleading. A lot of positives to take out of the Hawks, even in the loss.
And talking to Coach Callahan during the week, he was excited about his team's effort as well in that game against the Broncos. Monmouth was able to move the football in that game. They did stop a very potent Western Michigan rush attack. Pete Guerrero went over 100 yards on the ground. There was a lot, and I know 48-13 looks a certain way, but there's a lot of positives that Monmouth can take out of that game. Maybe the biggest one is they came out of that game fairly healthy.
These teams played a real good game last year in Pennsylvania. Monmouth opened up this new stadium a couple of seasons ago with a win over Lafayette. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we've got the opening kickoff for you, and we've got what should be a good one between the Leopards and the Hawks. It's coming up next on ESPN.
I want it.
I can't believe it.
That car brought his karaoke machine.
Nothing but a heartache.
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
Tell me why I never wanted you to say.
Go, Kevin.
I
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Discover the new language of travel.
Bon voy.
Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards reimagined.
Musco Lighting. We make it happen.
Hard work, a love for the game, is mandatory down here. Sacrifice, a desire to be great, lives down here. Excellence, the will to compete, persists down here. This is the Big South, where winners are made.
Doesn't get much better than this to start off our home coverage of Monmouth University football. Hawks in the all blues today with the silver helmets. Lafayette will be in the all whites with the white helmets. It will be Monmouth who will receive this opening kickoff, and we say a picture-perfect day here, about a mile from the Jersey Shore in West Long Branch. 74 degrees here at kickoff. It is sunny, it is clear, and the winds have died down a little bit. We had the outskirts of Hurricane Dorian roll through yesterday, but in the clear here today. And Eddie, I'm not sure that either team could anticipate better weather than we've got right now.
You mentioned the weather story in the country is what's going on in the southeast portion of the U.S., and we'll talk more about that. And our thoughts, prayers, and well wishes go out to everyone affected by Hurricane Dorian. But up here in the northeast, you mentioned it. I don't know if you get a better day for football than what we have here. Slight breeze, sunny skies, everyone's fired up. Matt, it's one of those days when you leave the house, you just kind of feel good because the weather's so nice. We lucked out with an absolutely perfect one here this afternoon.
Both teams 0-1 to start their season. Lafayette losing down at William & Mary a week ago. Monmouth had their show on the road as well. They were beaten at FBS Western Michigan. So both teams trying to avoid what is that dreaded 0-2 start to begin the 2019 college football season. Lafayette will kick from the 35-yard line on the left hash mark. Jeffrey Cordenbrock will get this game up and going. Hangs it into the wind. Inside the end zone and deciding to take a knee before he comes out is Lonnie Moore, the fourth, the preseason player of the year on the offensive side of the ball. Kenji Bahar running the Monmouth offense, set records last season in the Monmouth accolades at the quarterback spot. He is 6'3", 190 pounds from Baltimore, Maryland. Last week you see his numbers. Was not bad at all. Didn't turn the football over. Pretty good, 26 of 41 for 194 yards.
Spread it around to a few different receivers, and a storyline that we'll keep an eye on with Monmouth and Kenji Bahar all season is who becomes his go-to receiver now that Reggie White Jr. is off to the NFL with the Giants, and he also graduated Vinny Grasso and Jake Powell.
On the ground, it will be Pete Guerrero, who will spin his way forward, get to the 30 for a 5-yard pickup. Guerrero, one of those guys that is back on the offensive side as well. Coming up to make the stop, the free safety, Otis Thrasher.
Good game last week for Guerrero. We referenced it in the open. Over 100 yards. That was against a really good Western Michigan defense, a physical front for him. And Matt, he was able to take contact and move forward, put on about 10 pounds of muscle in the offseason.
Bahar wants to throw, will flip it to the far side. That catch is made, brought in by Lonnie Moore, the fourth. The 5'10 junior from Sicklerville, New Jersey, has Monmouth a first down. Sunbelt Rentals brings you our starting lineups. There you see it for Monmouth. A lot of questions, Eddie, probably in that offensive line. You've got some guys back. Christian and Shabana anchor the left side. We talk about who's going to replace Reggie White. Might not be one guy, might be a lot of guys.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a committee approach that Monmouth takes to that wide receiver position. You mentioned it, Matt. We've talked a lot about some of the skill guys who were gone, but those guys up front that have moved on, Ryan Wetzel and Russ Clayton and Pete Riggy, those are huge holes to fill, but you nailed it on the wide receivers, my friend. Look for Terrence Green Jr., by the way, to be the guy that ultimately comes out of that group.
Quick throw, it's Moore again with the catch, and it's Monmouth out towards midfield. on a quick first down throw. Lonnie Moore getting the early action, his second catch, and it's got Monmouth another first down.
And Monmouth going quickly here. They didn't show a whole lot of tempo last week against Western Michigan, but they're doing so early on in the first quarter.
Guerrero off the left side, pounds his way into Leopard territory, down to about the 46-yard line. A gain there of 4. It's a Lafayette defense, which despite giving up 30 last week to William & Mary, played pretty well. That side of the football did not get helped by the Lafayette offense, which in the second half turned it over 3 consecutive times. Here's Bahar with plenty of time. He's going to go to the far sideline, look for Joey Alderelli, who had it for a second, but coming out of the pile with it, it's an interception for Eric Mitchell. It looked for a second like Monmouth was going to have a big play, but instead the senior corner for Lafayette gets the interception.
When it left Kenji Bahar's hands, I thought it was going to be a good completion, but just full credit to Mitchell going up on a 50-50 ball and wrestling it away from Joey Alderelli, who's normally sure-handed. You see he's got to slow up. Alderelli has it initially. Then as they go to the ground, it's Mitchell who, Matt, makes sure that he has possession before they hit. That is a fantastic play by the corner, and an unfortunate interception against Kenji Bahar. He put it where he needed to. Alderelli's got to be stronger in the air with the football.
Does pin Lafayette deep inside their own end. They will take it over the Leopards will at the 10-yard line. This is Keegan Shoemaker, the freshman, to start at quarterback. We'll talk about the rotating quarterback position for Lafayette right at get-go here. We were expecting Cole Northrup to start. We will likely see him at some point. Sean O'Malley, the returning starter from a year ago, now third on the depth chart. It is Shoemaker to take over the possession. 6'3", 190-pound freshman, that should say, from Prosper, Texas.
Well, how about the last time you and I did Monmouth Lafayette in the stadium? It was indeed Sean O'Malley as a true freshman who got the start for John Garrett here this afternoon. It's the freshman from Texas, Keegan Shoemaker.
Shoemaker in trouble. Lets it go into the sideline, the Monmouth sideline. That will go as an incompletion. Last week, Shoemaker against William & Mary, 13 of 22, 127 yards. Northrup, 10 of 17 for 127.
You'll take another look at this pressure again. This is something Monmouth didn't do a week ago against Western Michigan. This is Evan Powell off the outside in his linebacker spot, getting in the backfield in a hurry. Last week, they allowed John Wassing from Western Michigan, to really throw from a clean pocket. That was a nice job by Powell getting pressure after Monmouth had a first down stuff of the run.
Hawks with a 5-man front, 4 of those standing up right now. They'll bring pressure. Shoemaker scrambling. Gets away from the pocket, has a man open on the far sideline. That catch is made by Joe Gillette, number 20. The freshman wide receiver from Strongsville, Ohio.
More pressure again. Powell and Massey, you see on the twist, Massey comes right into your screen. Credit Shoemaker, though, sliding to his left, creating space, and finding another freshman in Joe Gillette right in front of Monmouth's young defensive back, Jadir Charles.
Tells you what they think of Shoemaker, as he is beaten out, at least in week 2 here. 2 juniors for that starting quarterback spot. O'Malley, a 2-year starter. Northrup, who started last week, as Selwyn Simpson takes the carry into the line. Just like Monmouth, maybe some questions in both the offensive line, but they do have Jake Moriarty back. He's an all-league type player, returning starter. There are 3 returning starters across the top, but Eddie, a rotating selection of running backs and wide receivers. Not sure that John Garrett has quite figured out his best mix offensively.
Likes his team map, but right now is looking for, like you said, that perfect combination of which guys you saw Selwyn Simpson's name. Also expect a lot of J.J. Younger and John Gay in the backfield.
Strong throw over the middle, and that catch will be made. Nick Pearson, second team all-league a year ago, gets his first reception of the day and gets Lafayette a first down out to their own 40-yard line.
Like what you see early on from Keegan Shoemaker, all-district pick in Texas, had a really productive high school career. You got to throw it well, right, if you're going to play quarterback in the state of Texas. But early on, like what you see, he's moved the pocket. He's been able to find his receivers, make good throws, and this is what Lafayette wants. They want someone to take control of this offense.
Under center on that jet sweep action, they put it back into the hands of Pearson. Not much to work with. He'll lose a yard. Good job by Anthony Budd getting up from the safety spot.
Plays that position that Monmouth had Mike Basile in for years and really allowed to rove and make plays in the defense. There did really everything you want the safety to do. He had contain. He also was able to square Pearson up, force him out of bounds. Loss of one as Bud strings that play out.
2nd down and 11. From the shotgun this time. On the rollout. Going to stop, throw to the sideline. It is deflected. Hassan Chambers on the coverage. Was looking for the tight end, Jake Taggart. It'll set up a 3rd down and long. You can see Chambers, good job on this little play action. The rollout going to his right. So far, the plan has been put Shoemaker on the move. This possession for Lafayette starting after the interception. Shoemaker to start, 2 of 4. It's Gillette in motion. 3, now 4 into the pattern. Safety valve throw. Catch is made by the tight end, Stylianos, who had 6 grabs a week ago. Good open field stop made by Jadir Charles, as Monmouth was in the nickel with an extra defensive back. It will force Lafayette into a 4th down and a punting situation. This is Ryan O'Mara on to punt. Gives it a pretty good charge. Electing not to fair catch it was Eddie Morales, who gets ripped down pretty quick. That will lead us into our first break. Just under 9 minutes remaining. Monmouth will get it for the 2nd time today.
NCAA Division I FCS football is a game of perseverance, integrity, passion, character, and sportsmanship. As he works to honor the game, every FCS student-athlete grows in his responsibilities as a student and as a member of his campus and community. Dedicated to personal growth and success in the classroom, the NCAA Division I FCS, every down, every day.
I can't believe it.
That car brought his karaoke machine.
Nothing but a heartache.
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
Tell me why. You say
No, Kevin. No, Kevin. No.
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Bon boy.
Discover the new language of travel.
Bon voy.
Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards reimagined.
Whether it's the practice field or weight room, in class or on game day, we compete down here. We put in work, day in and day out, to take a step forward towards degrees, championships. Our goals? Excellence on every level. 11 schools, more than 4,000 student athletes, one attitude. We are the Big South, where winners are made.
It's the day that we welcome Jake Bonifort as our newest team member. He's here to sign his national letter of intent with us today. So please help me in welcoming Jake Bonifort.
Jake Bonifort, the newest member of the Monmouth athletic community. Team Impact, a national nonprofit that connects children facing serious and chronic illnesses with local college athletic teams, forming lifelong bonds and life-changing outcomes. That's a new member for Monmouth. Jake Bonifort, you saw a little bit of the ceremony last night. And Eddie, I love, as you see Pete Guerrero run out of bounds, not only the connection that so many colleges across the country have with the Team Impact organization, but last night here at Monmouth, the big deal that they kind of make about it.
No, did you see, too, there was a jam-packed room, every single Monmouth football player in attendance, and it was a great moment for not only Jake and his family, but for Coach Callahan and the Monmouth football program, who, you know, Matt, they've over the years made it such a key element of their program, not only getting in the local community, but opening up their program to many different individuals. A great moment, and I know Jake's down there on the sideline now wanting a first down for this offense.
Second and long, and Guerrero dropped right at the line of scrimmage. Harrison Greenhill, the junior defensive tackle, comes in to make it.
Well, the strength of this Lafayette defense is indeed up front, and you could see they won at the point of attack there. It was Greenhill who cleaned up after the fact, but you give that initial surge up the middle to Colin Hurlbrink, who beat his man one-on-one, forced Guerrero inside. And again, this is the strength of this Leopards team. It's in that front alignment, whether it's 3 or 4 down.
From the shotgun, Bahar hanging in the pocket, lets it fly, almost intercepted. We do have a flag down. I think this is going to be pass interference on Lafayette. Lonnie Moore, the fourth, was tackled going across the field, and I believe the back judge caught the infraction.
Holding, defense, number 1. It's a 10-yard penalty and an automatic first.
Larry Adcock, our referee today. That is, in fact, the call. Defensive holding was Yasir Thomas, one of the anchors in the back four for Lafayette.
It really ruins what was a great couple of downs for this Lafayette defense. They won at the point of attack on the first couple of plays. That time they put pressure on Kenji Bahar, and it's the penalty that extends the Monmouth drive.
Flare to the outside. This is DeVell Jones in space. Jones bouncing off a tackle or two. And we'll pick up 3.5. Stop just shy of the 30-yard line. Jones, a fifth-year guy from Island, 6 foot, 235 pounds. You see that Leopard defense. Let's talk a little bit, Eddie, about Malik Ham. He is the returning Rookie of the Year from the Patriot League, preseason All-League, a guy last week who had 9 tackles. He does kind of set the edge and the tempo for that Leopard defense.
Well, they have a great front because they have a great player up front in Malik Ham, who really leads the way. He forces you as an offense to change the way you block up front. Not only those 9 stops a week ago, had a couple tackles for loss. And he's a guy, you saw some NFL scouts walking around earlier today that they're definitely looking at because of his ability. 6'3", 250 pounds, Matt. He projects at that next level to be a dominating pass rusher, whether his hand's on the ground or not.
Lafayette crowding the line of scrimmage. Monmouth will keep it on the ground with Jones, who needed one. We'll get to talk a little bit about DeVell Jones as we'll take a look at this. Jones, who has been the power back for Monmouth the last several years. Eddie, he's slimmed down a little bit, but you can see this is really his bread and butter.
He has slimmed down, Matt. He's dropped 15, 20 pounds or so. You can see he's quicker, but DeVell Jones is called upon to get yards in between the tackles, and really, if you want to get specific, in between the guards. And that time he made one little move in the hole, shuffle cut, and then he was able to get forward for the first.
Bahar with time, now going to scramble. We don't see Kenji do this often, but he does have good quickness when he gets outside the pocket and picks up a Monmouth first down.
Yeah, he runs to look to throw the ball, but that time man coverage for Lafayette. So what did Kenji Bahar see? The backs of a lot of jerseys, and he was able to get good first down yardage. You know, the thing that Kenji Bahar does well when he escapes the pocket, Matt, he's got that Russell Wilson quality of not taking a hit. He knows where the defenders are, and he always seems to get out of bounds just in the nick of time.
Trips off to the left side. It's Guerrero back into the game. Not much for him to work with on that go round. Ryan Barnett up to make the tackle.
impressed so far with what Lafayette's been able to do in slowing this Monmouth rushing attack down. Monmouth hasn't had 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3 throughout this first quarter. It's been a lot of 2nd and long when they look to give it to Guerrero, who's gotten the majority of the carries.
Starting right guard John Galena just had the check out for Monmouth, at least for a play. Bahar, quick throw. He has a target, has a man, connects with Terrence Green Jr., the junior from Philadelphia. Hauls it in and gets Monmouth a first down.
You'll see single coverage on the outside, and as Green comes into your shot, look at that picture-perfect throw from Bahar.
Wants to throw it again and wants the same man. Has Green, who will make the catch, runs over a tackler. That was Jordan Anderson, who had the coverage, paid the price on an 8-yard pickup.
Green running the in route right about 12 yards. The play before this time goes short to Green, who is stockily built, 5'11", 185. And that time was able to deliver the boom on the outside.
Tight end H-back set to the left of the formation. Sean Clark, Monmouth's best pass-catching tight end. Gene Scott off to the right side, more of a blocker. This is Guerrero going that way. Now going to cut back against the grain, come left, get to the 20, and finally ripped down around the 19-yard line.
You could see that, without a doubt, Lafayette defensively is keying in on Pete Guerrero, and who's ever running the football for Monmouth. They have 2, 3, 4 guys around him at every chance. It was just a great individual effort by Guerrero on that play that gets Monmouth the first down, but it wasn't by much. Lafayette right now, Matt, concentrating around that line of scrimmage, but you've seen these Monmouth receivers singled up on the outside. That's where Kenji Bahar should be looking.
Jones into the game. Little play action fake for Bahar. Under pressure, going to step up in the pocket. Look, throw. Almost had his target inside the end zone. Was looking for Scott. Last second play coming over Yasir Thomas.
And Matt, Kenji Bahar is going to want this one back. Watch number 84, Gene Scott, wide open in the back of the end zone. Oh, he was open for a good 2-3 seconds, and then by the time Bahar realized it, Yasir Thomas had enough time to come over and break it up. Scott wide open in the back of the end zone. Monmouth missed that one here in a scoreless first quarter.
This Big South Network broadcast is brought to you in part by Geico. Big South alumni could save even more with an alumni discount from Geico. Visit geico.com/Big South today. And by Marriott, the official hotel partner of the Big South Conference. And also by Sunbelt Rentals. We have equipment for that. Back here in West Long Branch, New Jersey, with my partner Eddie Acapinti, I'm Matt Harmon. You see an injured Leopard player getting helped off. That is Harrison Greenhill, the defensive tackle, 6'4", 250-pound junior. Greenhill out of Orlando, Florida. You know, that does bring up, Eddie, because of the, I'll say, wide scope of the Patriot League, you look at the roster for Lafayette, and you've got so many different areas of the country represented.
You seem to notice that on a lot of Patriot League rosters, Matt, a lot of Ivy League rosters as well. You look at the Monmouth roster, and it's pretty concentrated between Maryland and New Jersey, but you said it. You just look at that Lafayette roster, New Jersey, Texas, Indiana, Ohio, California. I only got down to about number 9 on the roster, so you mentioned it. They are well represented across the country.
Here's Bahar on a 2nd and 10. Gives to Guerrero. Good cutback inside the 10-5. Touchdown, Monmouth. That is Pete Guerrero doing what Pete Guerrero does, making players miss and then throwing it into another gear. Touchdown from 19 yards out, and the junior from Lyndhurst picking up where he left off a season ago.
Scored in Monmouth's season opener last week at Western Michigan. Scored his first career touchdown in this game a couple of seasons ago when Monmouth defeated Lafayette here to open Kessler Stadium, and that's just pure speed by Pete Guerrero.
Mascara on for the extra point. Matt Mascara, the veteran kicker for Monmouth. Hawks make it 7-0. Good drive, Eddie. Look at that. 10 plays, 87 yards, almost 8 minutes taken off the clock.
Well, that's what Monmouth wants to do. They want to control the clock. They want to be able to run the football and be balanced. But when you've got Pete Guerrero running like he does, you can see the great cut, the vision, the speed. It's a tremendous combination of skills that Monmouth's junior running back has, and he gets into the end zone.
And that's what you said with Monmouth, right? How are they going to replace Reggie White Jr.? They might replace it with just more running. The stable of running backs they have, you can see for Pete Guerrero, fastest in Monmouth football history to get to 2,000 yards, did it in less games, less carries than some pretty good backs along the way. And while you maybe figure out who is the next wide receiver, why not lean on a guy like Guerrero?
Well, him and DeVell Jones, and you've got a foundation for an offense at the running back position. Monmouth is deep there. And you said it, while these other receivers look to maybe take that step forward, why not go on the broader shoulders of number 25, Pete Guerrero? Quick to point out to us in the offseason, put on some muscle. Now he has the ability to run through more tacklers. And you saw him last week gain tough yards against Western Michigan, and here get Monmouth's first touchdown this afternoon.
Pooch kick set up. Lafayette second level coming up, calling for a fair catch. It'll be Leopard football when we come back. It'll be Lafayette to have it right around the 35-yard line. We take a timeout. Monmouth on the board for score of the day.
R3 left. This is Guerrero, big hole up the middle, inside the 5, touchdown Monmouth. Finally got Guerrero into space a little bit and threw it into another gear to punch in for the first points of the afternoon.
That was back a couple of years ago in the first game in this brand new stadium, Kessler Stadium. That was Pete Guerrero then. Eddie, this is Pete Guerrero now. Seems to like playing at home against Lafayette.
He looks just a little bit older, doesn't he? More mature. You could see the muscles filling out on the junior running back. He's had good games in this game the last 2 years, a couple of Monmouth wins going back that first game in the stadium and then last year out in Pennsylvania.
First down and 10 here for the Leopards. This is to give to the highly regarded John Gay. He's a freshman player out of Jeannette, Pennsylvania. 6'1", 190 pounds. Last week, 6 carries for 33 yards.
You mentioned how the Lafayette roster is kind of all over the place, players from everywhere. They do have a very, I'd say, solid contingent from Pennsylvania, and John Gay is one of them. And he's a good player that they gave the football to a bunch last week. And Matt, I wouldn't be shocked if he got a ton of carries today as well.
2nd and 7. Shoemaker in trouble. Shoemaker sacked. Host of players getting involved with that. Off the bottom of the pile, Kahari Scarlett and Nick Shoemaker.
Well, Daquan
No relation.
Grimes, first guy in. Kurt Almermat as well. Yeah, no relation, but they happen to meet in the backfield. And we've already seen Monmouth get more pressure today on Keegan Shoemaker than they were able to generate a week ago.
Shoemaker here on a 3rd and long. Lafayette 1 of 2 so far in the day. Gonna keep it on the ground with Simpson. He'll make one miss, but a lot of blue jerseys to clean things up. Conservative call on 3rd and 14. Did get 5.5. Initial stop for Monmouth made by the 5th-year senior Matt Castronova.
Converted from wide receiver to defensive back during the year last year. That time made the play. He set the edge. He outran to the boundary, forced the play back up inside. That's something you get from a veteran player.
On to punt is O'Hara. High hanging punt. Morales this time will call for and make a fair catch right around the 24-yard line.
Monmouth coming off a touchdown drive in which Pete Guerrero was featured. Already 7 carries for 36 yards and a score. But that balanced offense right now for Monmouth, of their 17 plays, they've run it 10 times. You got Kenji Bahar as your trigger man. You can be balanced, but also trust that he's going to make the right read more times than not.
Moving into the late stages here of this first quarter. Monmouth, as they often do, will change the tempo. Bahar using almost the entire play clock this time around. It's Guerrero again. Great inside-out move to get to the boundary and pick up a first down. About a 13-yard pickup out to the 37.
Well, contain's a tough thing to get. And right here, you think you got contained Keith Earl, but you don't, because Pete Guerrero bounces it outside. And then you have Lonnie Moore blocking downfield. I'll tell you, we haven't seen a lot of missed tackles from Lafayette, but that time you got to corral Pete Guerrero as best you can. Easier said than done.
Bahar wanting to throw here, has plenty of time. He's going to air it out, look for Moore, had to adjust to the football, and he will come down with it.
They're going to rule it. It's a reception, Matt, and we almost had an identical play from earlier when Joey Aldarelli got one wrestled away.
The only difference being as Moore hit the ground, he had the better of the possession.
Yeah,
We'll see if they'll take another look at it, which they could.
Yeah, they're rushing to the line now to try to prevent that, but now everything is kind of settled down. Naked eye to you, partner, what'd you think?
I thought it was a Monmouth catch.
I agree.
And I thought on the last one, I thought it was easy to know that Lafayette had come out with the interception.
Yeah, so they're going to go to review. We're going to take a look at it. I think the way my broadcast partner just described it is pretty perfect. It's a catch. Right here you got Lonnie Moore with a bounce. He kind of bounces off the turf. To me, that looks like a reception in the same vein that the play earlier looked like an interception.
We'll say this, though. I think Kenji Bahar is going to say to himself, hanging the ball up just a little bit. Lonnie Moore that time was 5 yards clear of anybody. Should not necessarily have to wait for that football like he did.
Well, and Kenji Bahar's got the kind of arm that you could put it out there and you can allow your receiver to run underneath. That's going to be the biggest thing that you see. Lonnie Moore does get behind the defense, but here he's got to slow up at the top of the route. And when he does that, it allows Romeo Weichel to play ball skills pretty well. Now, it's a bang-bang kind of play, and they're wrestling for it there. Let's see if we can let's slow this down. Let's take a look. Moore high points the ball. He makes the catch. Here it's a catch. Here it starts getting kind of dicey.
Let's remember, too, it was called as a catch on the field, so you've got to have that overwhelming evidence to overturn it, which at least right there, I don't think you have.
Called a catch, looks like it will remain, a catch. Because I don't think there's enough, Matt, in that. And there you go. We get it again. Here's the behind the angle from behind the offense. Moore makes the grab. And as he wrestles to the ground and Weichel with it, he doesn't take it away till his knee is already down and he bounces. However, like you said, put it out in front of the receiver and let him run under it.
1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Monmouth looking for their second score with less than a minute to go in this first quarter. Checking back over to the line of scrimmage. New set of signals coming in. Play clock to 4. It's Guerrero up the middle. He'll pick up 2. That might be the final play of the first quarter. Monmouth does not have to snap it again.
It's a big offensive quarter for Monmouth, Matt. They gain about 170 yards of offense, but they only lead 7-0. As Lafayette has done a nice job controlling Monmouth on early downs. But right now, Monmouth leads 7-0.
Pete Guerrero, we showed you one from 2017. This is the current version and the one that's given Monmouth that 7-0 lead after the first quarter. 7-0 Monmouth as we head into the start of the second quarter. Hawks trying to add to this lead. There is new offensive coordinator Jeff Gallo, a former Monmouth graduate, taking over after longtime OC Kevin Morris has left and gone to another school, off to the University of Pennsylvania. It's now Gallo who calls the plays. See what he dials up here on 2nd and 8. Some movement up front. Of course, everyone pointing at the other guy.
One of my biggest pet peeves with some of the rule changes is they don't allow the defense to jump and go back. It kind of has eliminated the free play from football, and I, for one, used to love the free play.
False start, offense, number 62. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Get whistled on Monmouth. John Galena gets called for the 5-yard infraction. I just like that no one ever takes the blame for it. Everyone's always pointing back and forth. It's kind of like you're up here in the box. Eddie makes a mistake, I make a mistake. We usually blame the other guy, and you know, at some point, turn each other's mics off, make each other laugh.
And get yelled at by the producer.
And get yelled at by the producer.
All right, that's how it goes. So you're saying you want to see the lineman jump and do like the my bad?
Yeah, like sorry, it was me. I got it. Don't blame the other guy.
Would that be the ultimate example of sportsmanship?
Sportsmanship, that's exactly right. Let's get to that place in today's society. 2nd and 13. Galena, by the way, has shifted over to the left guard position. He started the day at the right guard spot. Bahar stepping up, throwing. Has a man in the end zone, just overshoots Terrence Green Jr. Pretty good throw. You saw the strength of the Kenji Bahar right arm. And Eddie, I think you would agree, the one thing I really like about that throw, only Terrence Green was going to make that catch.
It was either Green or an incomplete pass. Nice blitz pickup by Pete Guerrero. And I'll tell you, Lafayette has been very content to leave their corners singled up on the outside. That was Jordan Anderson in coverage. Now, Anderson did a pretty good job using the sideline as his buddy.
That little slip screen set up. Football is dropped. Off on the far side. They try to get it back into the hands of Green. Monmouth will come on and attempt a field goal for Matt Mosquera.
How many times did you see that play called the last couple of years for Reggie White Jr.? You expect number 9 to be the one on the receiving end of that. Pulled so many of them in. Terrence Green Jr. is sure-handed. He won't drop that one too often, but it's a stop for Lafayette defensively as now Matt Mosquera on for points.
Mosquera, 35-yard attempt. Looks pretty good, certainly has the distance, and straight and true for Matt Mosquera, who did not have a field goal last week, but gets his first 3 of the season this year. Monmouth taking a 10-0 lead to our break. Hawks enjoying some home cooking.
I want it.
I can't believe it.
That car brought his karaoke machine.
Nothing but a heartache.
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
Tell me why. You say.
Go, Kevin.
Go, Kevin.
No.
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Musco Lighting. We make it happen.
Rise and shine, people. It's your perfect day. A chance to find inspiration and prepare for the future. To build lasting relationships and push the limit harder than before. This is your today, and it couldn't be more perfect. Until tomorrow, when it happens again.
One boy.
Discover the new language of travel.
Bonvoy.
Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards reimagined.
Marriott, the official hotel partner of the Big South Conference. For the best rates, book directly with Marriott by heading to BigSouthSports.com/Marriott, and you'll support Big South student athletes in the process. That's BigSouthSports.com/Marriott. Monmouth with a scoring drive, 6 plays, 58 yards. Took 1:45 off the clock, resulting in a field goal from 35 yards out for Matt Mascara. Changed his number in between last season and this season. Senior out of nearby Middletown, New Jersey. Last year was 37, this year 17.
There's a few different number changes out there from the previous year. Makes it, of course, easy on the broadcast crew.
Well, which makes you think, too, he's had to suffer for the last 3 years with a number that he really didn't want.
That's what you take away from it?
That's exactly what I take away from it. Deep kickoff all the way back to the goal line. Lafayette set something up. It is J.J. Younger to take it out. Stop just shy of the 30-yard line.
So if you're Lafayette, Harrison Younger's down. Oh, and unfortunately, he is holding, looks like that right hamstring. Hopefully it's just a cramp and nothing more, as maybe it's more than a hamstring and it's leg related, as they'll take a timeout on the field. Matt, let's take another look here. We get the behind formation look from the end zone. And there's a collision there, and might have got rolled up on a little bit by some of the Monmouth players trailing the play.
Didn't necessarily look like that typical pulled hamstring type injury where you almost kind of stop and immediately try to grab back of your leg. So hopefully J.J. Younger, the 5'8", 165-pound junior, should hopefully be able to get up and continue. He's out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
You know, Lafayette in need not only of hopefully Younger to be healthy, but really in need of a drive. And we've seen to this point of the game Keegan Shoemaker go the distance. No Cole Northrup yet. No Sean O'Malley this season, the starter the last couple of years, and there's Younger not able to put a whole lot of pressure on that right leg, be it an ankle or knee. You mentioned it. Hopefully he's okay. He's their main kick return guy and a guy that is counted on in their offense. But what the Leopards need now is a drive. What they need is a couple of first downs. They need mix things up a bit. You know, John Garrett, who calls the plays for this team, likes that pro-style attack. That also means take some time off the clock. Let your defense rest a little bit on the sidelines.
1st and 10 here for the Leopards. This is Simpson, nowhere to go. Monmouth up in pretty tight run coverage. Justin Terry, the corner, the first man there.
And one thing you'll see, both Monmouth corners, Tymir Berry and Justin Terry, are very willing tacklers. And that time, Justin Terry was just unmarked on the outside. There was no one in front of him, no one shielding him from the play. He was allowed to come up and make the tackle.
Simpson again, same result. 2 plays, and Lafayette has lost about 8 yards.
Daquan Grimes and Anthony Budd in the backfield in a hurry, and Lafayette going the other way. And the line gets reset initially right here, right from the stop. And you can see just there's nowhere to run. And so when Simpson, he had nowhere to go.
It was last week, Monmouth only gave up 90 yards on the ground to Western Michigan on 33 carries. They were beaten oftentimes through the air, but that front 7 really did play well.
It played well, and they held Levante Bellamy, who's an all-MAC first-team pick, to 50-some-odd yards rushing.
Quick pass to the outside. It's caught by Pearson. Tripped up, and a rough set of downs that time for Lafayette. They go 3 and out as they'll bring the punt team on. A couple of minutes into this second quarter.
Oh, they went run, and then the pass near the line of scrimmage. It was a nice series there defensively for Justin Terry, who made a couple of stops.
Good look at Eddie Morales III. Also a local product, went to Howell High School. Ryan O'Mara set to punt. His 3rd punt today. This is short, and it's going to bounce in front of Morales, and he's going to let it go towards the sideline, and Monmouth will have it in pretty decent starting field position.
Yeah, Monmouth his last few drives looked pretty good. Kenji Bahar, 6 out of 10, 96 yards. He's got an interception, but like we mentioned earlier, really not his fault on that first series. And we saw Pete Guerrero in his milestone a week ago. Bahar went up and over 6,000 career yards last week.
First down and 10 for Monmouth from their own 37-yard line. Single back is DeVell Jones. Off the left side, Jones cuts back right, and he will get a first down. That might be a little bit of what to expect from DeVell Jones. In years past, that play would have just continued to go left. We'll see it on the replay. Watch this nifty little cutback.
Well, you could see noticeably shiftier. Look at that move. That move didn't happen a couple of years ago, and it does now. As not only the change of direction, flip those hips, but get good yardage, get first down yardage. DeVell Jones, Matt, has become a guy that you will use in any down and distance on the field, not just short yardage and goal line.
He'll stay in here, Jones will. Give Guerrero a little bit of a break. Not much to work with here. A loss of about 2. Good job coming up, Billy Schaefer, the outside linebacker.
Yeah, that time Lafayette knew. Monmouth kind of tipped its hat to what they were going to do. And Schaefer, who's that hybrid kind of linebacker safety position for them, read it well.
Second and a long 11. Looking over the back of head coach Kevin Callahan. Started this program in 1993. Bahar, throw to the outside, looking in the direction of Asante Carney, the 6'2 sophomore who will make the catch and get about half of what Monmouth needs for a first down.
Yeah, what do you notice differently about Carney than the other Monmouth receivers? He's a big guy.
Yeah, big size, 6'2".
6'2", about 210. The other 3 Monmouth starters go anywhere from 5'11" to about 6 foot. So that's where Carney can really play a role for this team and be a big body target for Kenji Bahar.
Third and 5. Jones motioning out of the backfield. Bahar over the middle. Good looking play. It's caught by 5th-year receiver Brandon Batts.
Bahar continues to spread it around, and Batts had a great preseason camp. Sure-handed receiver. If you remember, partner, a year ago, he had a huge game against Lafayette. Continuing solid production against the Leopards, and Bahar that time really good protection up front.
7 catches, 93 yards in that game in Easton last season. It was a little bit of a breaking out party for Brandon Batts. Here's a reverse setup. It'll be Batts again who has it. Takes a good open field stick, but not after he picks up about 4. He's got to keep that head on a swivel.
Well, it's kind of a slow developing play, and Damon Washington trailing it. Put his shoulder right into Brandon Batts. And I don't think that hit as smooth as Monmouth would have wanted to draw it up.
2nd and 6. Plenty of time for Bahar. He'll go to the near sideline. Carney will make another catch. Getting a look here at kind of the rest of the 2 deep in terms of Monmouth. They normally play 3 wide receivers. Moore, Alderelli, Green right now onto the field. That second group, Batts, Carney, and Zach Treadway. Here's Guerrero up the middle. Takes it over the 20 to the 19. Gain there of 5. Lafayette player down.
And they've had a few players on the turf in this game. And the one kickoff, J.J. Younger went down. They've had a few different defensive players leave as well, as there'll be an official timeout. And there you get an up close and personal view. I didn't get the number. but unfortunately another leopard down.
We'll take a quick timeout here. We come back, 8:54 remaining in the first half. Monmouth up 10-0. You are watching ESPN Plus in this Big South Network broadcast. It is brought to you by Geico. With Eddie Occhipinti, I'm Matt Harmon, enjoying the sunshine here at the Jersey Shore. Injured player for Lafayette going to break. The sophomore, number 52, Ian Grayson, helped off. We come back here with what is 2nd and 5 for Monmouth, and an opportunity to go up 3 scores if the Hawks can punch it in. It's Gene Scott in motion. It's Guerrero, a little outside zone. Guerrero turning the edge. He gets Monmouth a first down and works it down right around the 10-yard line.
Patience for Pete Guerrero there, and really allowed the blocks in front of him to get set up. And when Gene Scott's out there, he kind of is another quasi-offensive lineman, and Guerrero just let it happen in front of him, picked and choose, and was able to get outside for the first down.
Right at the 10, so it is 1st and goal. Bahar taking his time with the play clock. Now it's 6. Guerrero up the middle. Lowers the shoulder as he hits the second level of that Lafayette 3-4 defense. A pickup of 4.
This has been, hasn't it seemed like Monmouth's had the ball all half? You know, you look down and you see the time of possession, the numbers are close, but Monmouth's outgaining Lafayette by almost 200 yards here in this first half.
Delvell Jones into the game. He is normally the goal line guy for Monmouth. Bahar, though, wants to throw. Throws and overshoots Brandon Batts.
There's good coverage on the outside. Caleb Burr, the sophomore from Ohio. Batts just didn't look in rhythm. And Bahar hits that back foot. He throws in at this time. Batts was already on that plant, kind of falling to the ground. Does a lot of his damage in the middle of the field as Brandon Batts. Drags and crosses.
Four receiver look this time for Monmouth. They'll spread it out with Jones in the backfield. Now he'll motion as well. Bahar has some time. He's going to get some extra time. Roll to his right. Look, and overthrow again. Asante Carney. Definitely a miscommunication there between the two, and Monmouth cost themselves 6 points.
Well, that's the second time in this game that a receiver's been missed at or near the goal line. Gene Scott earlier, different scenario. This time Bahar was scrambling around, and as he was scrambling right, Asante Carney was dragging across formation left, and literally they got crossed up. And Kenji Bahar doesn't miss open receivers very often. That time he was flushed out trying to make the throw.
Mascara with a short field goal. That's 3 more on the board for Monmouth. He'll take a 13-0 lead. Probably, though, the Hawks more thinking we left some points on the board the last couple of drives.
They've outgained Lafayette 225-34 to this point in the game. And if you're Lafayette, you're not feeling too bad because you're still 2 scores down and you've bent but hasn't broken at this point in the game. Here's what we're talking about. Bahar's going to roll right. You'll see Carney flash in the screen go the other way. And, you know, the throw actually, I'm going to take back what I said. It wasn't a bad throw. Carney slipped, and maybe he was a little behind him. And that play just to the eye didn't look smooth.
What you're wondering is Carney thinking I should keep going across, and Bahar's thinking just stay right where you are. There's nobody around you. I'm going to just give it to you right there.
Well, and that's where experience for Carney will come into play. Because as you get more reps and you get into those scramble drills, what you'll eventually notice is you'll be able to feel the open spot. And if Carney could feel that there's no one in front of him, his job is indeed to sit in the back of the end zone.
Ball goes off the tee before Mascara can get to it. Monmouth next week back at home. They'll have Albany coming into town. Former matchup of league rivals, as both teams resided for several years in the Northeast Conference. Albany now the CAA. Monmouth, of course, here in the Big South. Lafayette will elect to keep it in the end zone and come out for a touchback. We'll take a timeout here. Less than 7 to go in the first half. So far, it's been all Monmouth. There is a look inside the offensive huddle, and under the direction of the head coach, John Garrett, in his 3rd year, the former Princeton Tiger, kicked around the NFL for a couple years with the Cowboys, Bengals, and Bills, a longtime coach in the NFL as well, the 54-year-old, and in his 3rd year here with Lafayette, 6-17 coming into this one. And I think still, as we've talked to him every year, because we had Monmouth a couple of years ago, last year Lafayette, back here at Monmouth, so we've gotten to know him in this Lafayette team. I still think in that process of feeling pretty good about the direction, but still also looking for more infusion of talent.
Trying to upgrade the talent on the roster. In Lafayette, before John Garrett got there, it kind of struggled as a Patriot League team for a lot of years. And, you know, his experiences in the NFL, like you said. So in the NFL, you can go sign free agents and you can draft 7 or 8 players. In college, it's different, right? You have to hit the road, you have to recruit. So the rebuilding process, if you want to call it that, in college, it's going to inherently take longer than it does in the professional ranks. This Lafayette team is definitely better than they were in his first year. Last year they were competitive. I think he's waiting for that group now to kind of get over the hump a bit and go from competitive to then results.
3-8 a season ago, 2-4 in the Patriot League. Shoemaker has time here. Moves from the pocket, comes left as he runs to the Monmouth sideline. Stiff-armed one player, takes it out of bounds as he gets right back to the line of scrimmage. Not a coverage sack because he wasn't hit behind the line, but certainly a coverage play for Monmouth.
You can see Monmouth, Matt, playing coverage. They only rush 4. You can see all the blue shirts back there, and everyone's manned up. There's just nowhere to throw the football for Shoemaker. He did as best he could do and make it a more manageable 3rd down.
3rd and 4. Lafayette so far on the day on 3rd downs, just 1 of 4. Tight look off to the right side. Simpson out of the backfield. Quick throw in good hands for Joe Gillette, who will make the reception and get the Leopards a 1st down.
Sure-handed grab as Gillette had to go high for this. You'll see the quick release and Gillette from that inside slot position, able to secure the catch. Monmouth continues to get good pressure on Shoemaker, but he's put the ball where it needs to be now, 6 out of 8 for 52 yards.
A much-needed drive for Lafayette at the very minimum, just a 1st down, little momentum. Shoemaker again this time moving out of the pocket. Moving right, crosses the line of scrimmage. Gets dragged down by Daquan Grimes.
These plays are long developing plays too. I know that 3rd down conversion, they snuck Gillette out and he was able to make the catch, but you want to set your young quarterback up with some easy throws and quick throws. And you can see Monmouth is just dominating this game. Total yards, 4-1.
2nd and 7. There's a quick hitter to the far side. Catch is made by Julian Spigner. They heard you.
You want easy completions for your young quarterback. You want him to gain confidence. It's very similar to being able to win on 1st down. You know, if you get to 2nd and 4, 3rd and 1, it makes things so much easier than 2nd and 9, 3rd and 7, that kind of situation. Like now, 3rd and 2, you got a pretty open playbook. You also might be in 4-down territory with 4 minutes to go.
Last week, Cole Northrup and Keegan Shoemaker split time in the loss against William & Mary. So far, it's been all Shoemaker today. He's got an open target. That is Jake Taggart, the backup tight end, in the flat, and a 1st down for the Leopards.
And when Shoemaker's got time, he's been able to make the throw. We know Lafayette's going to utilize their tight ends in this pro-style offense. You can see that, the big target presented by Taggart, the quick throw from Shoemaker. And that's how you pick up 1st downs. That's how you keep that clock moving. Lafayette now into Monmouth territory. If John Garrett has this drive go perfectly, it's points on the board and Monmouth not getting the football back.
Lafayette expected to start with it in the 3rd quarter. Long rollout to the right. Nothing doing that time as Shoemaker lets it flying to the sideline.
A little misdirection though, trying to get Monmouth flow going one way, bring it back towards the other. And also, I like getting the young quarterback on the move. Make his read even a little easier, where maybe he's not reading 4 or 5 receivers, but instead he's reading 1 or 2. Now the difference there is, Matt, there was pressure and the receivers on the back end were covered.
It is 2nd and 10 here for Lafayette. 2 receivers either side for Shoemaker to work with. Gets the shotgun snap. Throws to the outside. Simpson the dump down. Good stiff arm by Selwyn Simpson to get an extra yard or 2.
Even on that little swing pass, though, you still saw Shoemaker with a ton of pressure on him. Kurt Auburn was in the backfield in a hurry, but he made the throw he needed to. Starting to see some confidence develop here in the young quarterback.
Looking for the first down. Simpson lowering the shoulder this time to get it to the 35-yard line. He'll limp off a little bit. Calling for somebody to hop on for him. It'll be John Gay, the freshman, who will come on.
Yeah.
It's already 2 running backs now that have left with injuries, if you remember Younger on the kickoff.
Shoemaker's throw too strong here, bouncing off the intended target. That was Spigner.
The senior's got to help his young quarterback. Drive was going. You got some momentum on your side. And you put it on the ground here, stopping that momentum. It was a good throw. Had time up front. Drops there's never a good time, but that one was a bad one.
There are only 3 seniors in this starting lineup for Lafayette. Back to our point about the roster turnover and more of John Garrett's recruits seeing some time. With that rebuild sometimes takes a little longer, as Shoemaker that time pressured and hit.
That time it was Evan Powell again. He's been in the backfield now a couple of times. He's got a pretty good game going, and you'll see Shoemaker just has no time. Powell's going to come flying in from that right outside linebacker spot, and because of the pressure, he's got to throw it over the head of Stylianos, the tight end. Now forcing 3rd and long. So, Matt, that's where that drop on first down is absolutely killer, because now instead of it being 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3, you're back to 3rd and 10.
Powell's a senior for this Monmouth team, and he has become a rock in the middle of that defense. Pressure again up the middle. That time Anthony Budd coming forward. The intended target was Simpson. We've seen a player like Powell, Eddie, develop over the last couple years. He's now become probably what every coach would love, a linebacker that doesn't have to come off the field. He can play all 3 downs.
Yeah, he's a Swiss Army knife at the linebacker position. You can put him at that rush end spot that Monmouth likes to play in a 3-4 alignment. How about this time, though? Right up the gut, Anthony Budd bearing down on Shoemaker. The attention paid to Powell and those linebackers, evident there on that big pressure, as now Lafayette will stay on the field.
On 4th and 10, Leopard's going to go for it. Shoemaker has time, delivers it inside the 20, and the catch is made. Julius Young, good hands to get it before it hits the turf.
Now the freshman from Houston with a nice grab, having to go down and get it. Shoemaker scanned the field, start left, come right, gets it out on time. Well done.
Here's the carry on the counter. Set up. This is John Gay, the freshman. He'll get 6, maybe 7.
Matt, this is a long drive. This is the drive that the Leopards needed at this juncture of the game. We're going on a 15-play drive.
And there's Gay getting to the corner and getting into the end zone. Had a touchdown last week against William & Mary and has a second in week 2 against Monmouth.
It's a perfectly executed, orchestrated drive by Keegan Shoemaker and John Garrett. Kudos to the head coach trusting his freshman quarterback on a 4th down conversion. Another freshman coming up with a big grab in Julius Young, and another newcomer, John Gay, getting it into the end zone. A big-time drive for these young Leopards.
On for the extra point, Jeff Kortenbrock. That extra point is good. And the Leopards with a nice drive, 15 plays, 75 yards, over 5.5 minutes on the clock.
They get flow going left. No one's there on the backside to stop Gay. And by far, Lafayette's best drive of the game comes at the end of the first half, and they get on the scoreboard. Matt, I will go back to that 4th down conversion. That was huge when Shoemaker found Young for that sliding grab. The guy right in the middle of your screen there, John Garrett calling the plays. That was a big-time drive. Lafayette needed that.
Does go back and make you think of the points that were left on the board for Monmouth in that first half. A couple of field goals rather than touchdowns after pretty good drives.
We'll go back even beyond that. Remember way back when Lafayette wrestled away that interception early on, where Monmouth came out kind of fast and we're moving downfield. Lafayette right now is still outgained 2-1, but they're hanging around. It's a one-score game. That's all you can ask for at this point.
Kickoff into the wind, which is picked up a little bit. Hanging up, grabbed by Lonnie Moore, the 4th, inside the 5. Comes to the 20, 25, spin at the 30. Bounces out over the 35-yard line. So Monmouth still with 81 seconds to play with, and they've got all 3 timeouts.
And really for the first time this season, we'll get to see Kenji Bahar execute a 2-minute drill. Didn't see it a week ago against Western Michigan, but now we'll see with this new group of receivers, guys playing different roles, how Monmouth attacks this final minute 21.
This is Guerrero. Screen set up. In open field. Gets to the 41. Gain there of 5. Grabbed by Billy Schaefer on the tackle. Monmouth trying to get to the line quick. It's Guerrero on the ground. Good cutback at the point of attack. He'll get the Hawks a first down. Gain there of 6.
Plenty of time. Monmouth doesn't need to be too much in a hurry. They do have 3 timeouts, 45 seconds left near midfield.
They have not used the timeout. They still have the full assortment of 3. This one skips in for Joey Alderelli. Incomplete. It'll bring up a 2nd and 10. .40 seconds remaining in the half. Monmouth leading 13-7, seeing if they can, at the very minimum, get into field goal range. Bahar has time to the sideline, looking. Good adjustment on the football from Lonnie Moore.
That's great body control on the outside by Lonnie Moore. You can see Kenji Bahar throws this towards the sideline, only where his guy, Lonnie Moore, can get it.
Just outside the 20-yard line. Bahar has 5 into the pattern. Trying to direct traffic. He's going to spin away from trouble. Bahar cutting at the 20. Coming now all the way back across the field and gets dragged down right around the original line of scrimmage. 10 seconds remaining. Only bad thing about that play, took a lot of time.
Well, you love the athleticism and you love Kenji Bahar trying to make a play. But here's the only problem with that partner. Like you said, it took a lot of time. When Bahar kind of rolled out initially, that's where you got to make your decision to throw it.
We do have a penalty that was thrown. It's in the direction of Lafayette. Actually thought it was going to go the other way, maybe against Monmouth. A lot of the, we're right next to the coach's box of Lafayette and looked across to the sideline. I think the Leopards were all a little disenchanted with a block that Mahmoud Shabana threw against Malik Ham. That's a blindside hit. That's kind of something that's been new in college football. Obviously, player safety a concern.
Well, that's a point of emphasis this season, is eliminating that block. And that's what John Garrett's saying right now. He's saying that's a rule, and that's what we're trying to legislate out of the game, are those dangerous hits. So watch as Bahar breaks contain. You see Shabana kind of bear down on ham. And by the letter of the law, with what they're trying to do this season, you're not supposed to do that anymore and hit a defenseless player regardless of where that comes. You've got to be squared up, and you can't launch into anyone anymore. You've got to deliver a solid block.
Here's the problem, though. It wasn't called, and then probably the argument that ensued will cost Lafayette 10 yards on an unsportsmanlike.
Well, and it's not the NFL in the sense that, right, you can challenge a penalty and do things like that. So, unfortunately,
Hawks will use their first timeout. Talk about what probably is time enough for 2 plays if they warrant that clock the right way.
But like you said, that play took a lot of time. That play took 10, 12 seconds off the clock. So you love the ability for Bahar to scramble and to move around, but what you don't love if you're Monmouth and trying to move forward towards the end zone is the time you don't have now. You said 2 plays. I agree, but you got to be pretty efficient with 10 seconds.
Alderelli, receiver to the right. Looks like the Hawks will throw trips to the left. How about just toss it up for Sean Clark? He's 6'8" as the tight end. He's going to be the nearest slot receiver off to the left for Bahar.
Yeah, this role the last couple years, it's been automatic. You look at number 9 for Monmouth, which was Reggie White Jr., currently with the New York Giants. So not on the field now. Who's going to become that new red zone go-to target?
We'll get a first look at it here for Bahar. It's Guerrero who's in the backfield. Monmouth trying to build on a 13-7 lead. Looking right, throwing, touchdown, Monmouth. Joey Alderelli with the score. Alderelli from right up the road at Ocean Township High School. He brings it in. That one delivered on the mark from Kenji, the 5th-year senior.
Now, we asked at the beginning of that drive, what would Bahar do answering the Lafayette score? And that was masterfully executed, getting down the field. Monmouth goes 3 by 1. They singled up Alderelli on the right, beats his man one-on-one, and makes the catch with a pinpoint throw from Kenji Bahar.
Monmouth will use a timeout here before the extra point. Here's another look at it. You see Bahar started, he looked left. I think that was just enough to get enough movement to open that seam up on the slant for Alderelli.
The thing with that whole play and watching it develop is it's got to be that great clear at the line of scrimmage, and then you've got to shield your body from that defensive back, and Alderelli did just that. Almost like a basketball player, boxing out down low. Once you shield away and you're strong with the football, Matt, he makes the catch. That's big to see. If you remember way back in the first quarter, he had a ball wrestled away from him for an interception.
Last week, Alderelli, 7 catches, 47 yards in the loss to Western Michigan. As most things, though, Eddie, they say, starts up front. Bahar, who's good size at 6'3", but he had that nice little bubble set up around him from his offensive line.
Oh, he had time to throw the football. That line has really come together throughout training camp. And now Monmouth going to stay on the field here, partner. Go for 2 late in the first half.
Trying to get it to 21-14 in a full 14-point spread. Little option throw back to Lonnie Moore. Cut back down near the goal line, and it's in for the 2. Well-designed little trickery there for Monmouth as Moore starting in motion and then going back to where he came from. And the Hawks with the 6 plus 2. That makes it 21-7 with 5 seconds remaining.
Well, this group of wide receivers really had a nice drive. Alderelli had the touchdown, but Moore had the big gain into Lafayette territory. Here he starts motion one way, they throw back the other, makes 1 cut, nice blocking on the outside, and he's able to punch it in for 2. That's a big answer to the Lafayette score as Monmouth goes back to a 2-score lead.
And you probably were thinking, if you were watching after that, Lafayette, Monmouth about a minute change, probably just taking it into the locker room, readdress, but you can see in a 76-second drive, 6 plays, 64 yards. That's some of the offensive staff. Jeff Gallo to your right. Kevin Callahan Jr. to his left. He's the wide receiver coach here. He was with Lafayette last year and has elected to come home and work for Dad.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that in the second half. That relationship among the Monmouth coaches that goes back as long as it can.
Fair catch called for. Lafayette will have it with 5 seconds remaining as we wind down this first half. It is Monmouth 21 and Lafayette 7. Eddie, looking forward to halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. Halftime, Matt, not only do you and I get to look around the college football landscape, some scores and highlights, but we have an exclusive interview with Monmouth University's 10th president, Dr. Patrick Leahy, will join me at halftime.
It looks like Shoemaker will just take a knee. Lafayette, who will get the football to start the second half, will go in and try to regroup. Monmouth dominating overall possession, yardage, and on the score, they lead at 21-7.
And Monmouth offensively was very solid in that first half, Matt. 280 yards, balanced attack. Monmouth runs for 100. Kenji Bahar, 169 yards in the air and a score.
Here's the Alderelli touchdown before we take this first time out going into the break. The local product with 6 more for Monmouth. 21-7, Hawks lead.
I want it.
I can't believe it.
That car brought his karaoke machine.
Nothing but a heartache.
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
Tell me why. You say.
Go, Kevin.
Go, Kevin. No.
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
1 point.
Discover the new language of travel.
Bon voy.
Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards reimagined.
Hard work, a love for the game, is mandatory down here. Sacrifice, a desire to be great, lives down here. Excellence, the will to compete, persists down here. This is the Big South, where winners are made.
NCAA Division I FCS football is a game of perseverance, integrity, passion, character, and sportsmanship. As he works to honor the game, every FCS student-athlete grows in his responsibilities as a student and as a member of his campus and community. Dedicated to personal growth and success in the classroom, the NCAA Division I FCS, every down, every day.
Rise and shine, people. It's your perfect day. A chance to find inspiration and prepare for the future. To build lasting relationships and push the limit harder than before. This is your today, and it couldn't be more perfect. Until tomorrow, when it happens again.
Imagine life without football. No Friday night lights, no pep rallies, no band. All that time invested to teach young men and women commitment and team spirit, gone. Football, where young men and women compete to be the best. Where bands, cheerleaders, and countless others take part in the team experience. Celebrate the passion that only happens every fall. Join the game.
1 half down, 1 half to go. We are back here in West Long Branch, New Jersey, the beautiful campus of Monmouth University, kicking off our halftime report presented by Geico. It is Monmouth 21 and Lafayette 7. Now, Eddie, these non-conference games are fun, but really when you look at it, this is kind of what it's all about for these teams. Take a look at both preseason polls. There's the Patriot League. Colgate, who's off to an 0-2 start, they are the team to beat. They had that great run last year in the FCS playoffs.
And really led by a dominant defense a year ago. They lost some players from that defense. They've struggled to move the football early in the year, but they are the prohibitive favorite in the Patriot League. And I'm pretty surprised 2-3. Holy Cross still working in, Matt. Really a new culture shift there. And how
Brand
about
new head coach.
New head coach in Georgetown hasn't been picked that high in the Patriot League preseason in a very long time.
Fordham, Lehigh, Lafayette, and Bucknell at the bottom pot of the poll. For this Big South Conference, where Monmouth resides in, Kennesaw State, the prohibitive favorite. Will be interesting to see what happens with that team because they graduated that huge class. They also have made some good runs into the playoffs. Monmouth with 5 first-place votes. Charleston Southern grabs 1. Then you see Campbell, Gardner-Webb, Hampton, new team in the league, Presbyterian there. Some might say, where's North Alabama? They are not part of the official conference this year in their transition period.
This is the year, the next 3 years, that they'll transition into the Big South, but they had a huge Week 1 win over Western Illinois. That's a team that's going to factor in this Big South race sooner rather than later.
Players of the week for both conferences. You can see good representation, 4 different schools right across the board. Tim DeMorat, the offensive player of the week from Fordham. Owen Kessler, the defensive player of the week. 13 tackles in the loss for Georgetown against Davidson. Sam McCloskey, the special teamer for Lehigh, and Jacob Dobbs, the rookie, 13 tackles, 11 in the loss against Navy. Eddie, on the flip side, we mentioned North Alabama. They are eligible to pick up some awards, though, during the week. What a good start for Terrence Humphrey, offensive player for North Alabama, over 100 yards.
Over 100 yards. Joe Gurley with a couple of field goals. A couple of Gardner-Webb running Bulldogs as well being honored. Devin Mines leads a pretty stout defense for the running Bulldogs. And then they had a tough opener against Charlotte, but they, Matt, should be a much improved team in the Big South.
We'll have time to look at scores from around the league when we return. After we come back, stick around. Monmouth University President Dr. Patrick Leahy joins Eddie. Hawks up by 14.
We have a little bit of time to answer these questions, right? You said about 3 minutes or
even upwards of
All right.
Yeah, so you don't have to short and like if we don't get through every It's a beautiful afternoon here on the Jersey Shore in West Long Branch with Monmouth leading Lafayette at halftime 21-7. On August 1st, Monmouth University got its 10th president, and it now is my pleasure to be joined by Dr. Patrick Leahy here in the booth. Dr. Leahy, how are you today?
Good to see you, Eddie. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and thanks for joining us here on our halftime. And it's been about a month on the job for you. I'm sure a bit of a whirlwind meeting everyone. How has the first month on the job been?
Well, the first month has been amazing. I mean, if I can get the next decade to be as meaningful and as fun as the first month, then we're going to have a great run together. The campus community has been so warm and welcoming. The greater Monmouth County community has been the same. It's really confirmed for my family and me that we made a great choice in coming to Monmouth. But, you know, I always say everybody likes the new guy until he starts making decisions. So I'm hopeful that we can keep up this momentum in the years to come.
Well, it's no different, right, than when a coach takes over a program.
That's right.
It's the same thing.
That's right.
What were the factors to you and your family about Monmouth University that drew you to campus?
Well, the first thing is that, to be honest, I've been a big fan of the Jersey Shore for 45 years. Every summer, without fail, my family has gone to South Jersey. And when I found out that there was a place where I could do the work that I love to do on the Jersey Shore, I said, you know, how do I get into this? And it has been amazing. I'm so impressed with the rich history of this place. I mean, founded in '33 as a junior college, and look at us today, just a rich history. But what I'm most excited about, Eddie, is the untapped potential that I still see in Monmouth University. Every university president wants to go to a place where he or she thinks there's still upside, and I see that here at Monmouth.
Your long history as an educator and as a college administrator, you've been able to, in every job that you've done, you go and make such an impact. What do you hope for and want for Monmouth University? What in your opinion, is the role of the university in shaping student athletes and students?
Well, you know, all of us who choose to dedicate our life to education believe in the power of education to transform lives. And I want us to, of course, continue to do that here at Monmouth. And I think that colleges and universities should increasingly be measured on how they help students travel, and that is from where they start to where they finish 4 years later, not just getting them the degree, of course, that's assured, but we want to get them the job of their choice so that they might have the career of their choice, the life of their choice. That's the ambition we have for our students here at Monmouth.
And that's something that whether you're a Monmouth student now, you're going to be, I know that's the biggest thing, right? It's where you're going to end up after college.
Where are you going to end up? And have we prepared you to have the life that you want and deserve? And that's how I think colleges, universities should increasingly be judged, not by, you know, whom they include, you know, whom they exclude, but rather whom they include and what they do with those students. And we have a great history, and we're going to have a bright future.
You're in your past an athlete, and I know that you oversee over the whole liberal arts university here. But when you look at athletics, when you look at what's happening on the field today, what's your impressions?
Well, first of all, you can't be a great university without a great athletics program. I believe that, and I love what these coaches mean to our student athletes. I love the energy it creates around the campus. I love in a Division I environment the possibility to shine a spotlight on the university by the games that we play around the country. So I'm a huge fan of collegiate athletics.
Well, we appreciate a couple of minutes. I know you're a busy man today. Thanks for giving us a little bit of time.
It's a pleasure, Eddie. Thank you.
That's the new president here at Monmouth University, Dr. Patrick Leahy, joining us here at halftime as we continue along on ESPN.
21-7, Monmouth leads. We are in the midst of our halftime show presented by Geico. Obviously, Eddie mentioned it at the beginning. We've got great weather here, but awful weather coming up with Hurricane Dorian, and we are encouraging everyone to try and help people affected by Hurricane Dorian. Your donation here, there's the information, will support the Red Cross response recovery efforts in both the United States and the Bahamas. You can certainly make a difference in people's lives that have been impacted by this massive storm, Category 5, going through the Bahamas and then 3, 2, 1 up the coast on the east side of the United States. Donation support, Red Cross preparation, and those efforts so important. It will get food, shelter, relief, recovery, planning, support, all other assistance. That's the number that you want to call, 1-800-RED Cross. Just a devastating storm. You can go online as well at redcross.org/ESPN. Please, even if it's a little bit, try and donate today.
Every little bit helps, Matt. That storm is not only devastating, as you said, it is a slow-moving storm that is just bringing so much destruction with it. And again, we mentioned thoughts, prayers, but anything you can do to help those affected would be huge.
Good first half offensively for Monmouth as we flip the script into our stat line. 280 total yards, 169 through Kenji Bahar, 111 on the ground, the combination of Pete Guerrero and DeVell Jones. Monmouth, 17 first downs. The time of possession just about even. Let's take a peek at some of the highlights.
Well, it's Monmouth's home opener, so they came out on fire, but it was an early turnover, as if you remember way back when, the interception that was rustled away from Joey Alderelli by Eric Mitchell, but Guerrero getting Monmouth on the board, another strong first half, 75 yards and that touchdown. Monmouth getting more pressure on Keegan Shoemaker, who has gone the distance for Lafayette in this game, but we've seen Lonnie Moore make big plays with his arm. A touchdown by freshman John Gay, his second career score. That was right before Joey Alderelli got Monmouth back on the board. Hawks lead at the half, 21-7.
Second half set to get up and going. It'll be Monmouth to kick off to start the third quarter to Lafayette. Leopards trailing 21-7. Their best drive, Lafayette, coming at the back end of the second quarter. Monmouth was able to respond right back, however, and pick up a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, a full 14-point advantage. This one out of the back of the end zone, and Lafayette will get it 1st and 10 off the touchback.
Matt, would you kind of agree that not a weird first half, but if you look at the stats, you would think that Monmouth maybe has a bigger lead than it did, and I know we discussed they did leave some points out there, but I really feel like if Lafayette can come put a drive together here, you can wipe that entire first half out of it and you just get right back in the game.
I think that's fair to say that the first drive, perhaps for both teams, will be very important. Lafayette, if they can get some points on the board, you put a little pressure on Monmouth. If the Hawks can force a 3 and out and then go down and score, it might be too much for the Leopards to overcome. On the ground, Lafayette will give it to the freshman John Gay, who had 3 carries for 22 yards in the first half. Not a whole lot to work with, a gain of only a yard.
And it's the 2 true freshmen in Shoemaker and Gay that come out in that backfield. And that's where John Garrett talks about the youth, talks about kind of the excitement of this program moving forward. Like what I've seen out of both those guys. Let them roll as they'll check back into the backfield. Good to see Selwyn Simpson's healthy.
Play action. This is Shoemaker rolling and hit hard, as was the far side referee. Good pressure by Monmouth. It was Daquan Grimes coming up strong.
Well, they go short side of the field. You just limit your options here. And it was a run-pass option. The problem was Julius Young was run blocking when he needed to be a target as a wide receiver. And that play just never developed. So right out of the gate, Lafayette with a 3rd and long here in the third quarter.
I would say an important 3rd down here. 4 of 8 the Leopards were in that first half. 4 receiver look for Shoemaker. Play clock was winding down, and it's going to cost Lafayette 5 yards.
And not the start that Lafayette wanted. Also looks as though the as slow as the Leopard offense is to move right now, not as slow as our referee microphone, which has now battled for the better part of 4 years.
I was wondering whether or not you were going to be honest with that evaluation or not.
I think I nailed it.
3rd down and 13. Screen set up to the far side. The sure hands of Joe Gillette. It'll be a quick 3 and out for Lafayette, not the way that they would have started.
Well, you come out and go 3 and out on your first drive, including a delay of game. That's not how you want to come out of the halftime locker room. You, again, want to get some first downs. You want to win on first down. And Monmouth defensively came out, made the stop, and now they'll get the football back after scoring late in the first half with more momentum.
Eddie Morales waiting for the punt of Ryan O'Hara. Pretty good punt from O'Hara. Chases Morales back inside the 30. Slips at the 25. Gets forward 35, maybe 36.
Nice return for Morales. This is his first season returning punts. And that was such a weapon a year ago when it was Vinny Grasso from Monmouth returning those punts. He's now transitioned to the coaching staff for Kevin Callahan. So now you come back out, Kenji Bahar, 12 out of 19, 169 yards, a score and a pick in that first half. But you give Monmouth a chance to really seize control of this one. Lafayette in need of a defensive stop.
Play action. Monmouth wants to get right to the air in the flat. Gene Scott can hang on to it, the tight end. Set up a 2nd and 10.
Normally an easy completion, but never really materialized. And Scott, a year ago, was pretty sure-handed for Monmouth. That time putting it on the ground. So far we've seen, 4 offensive plays? Not the prettiest start to our second half.
For either team. 2nd and 10 here for Monmouth. Lafayette jumping, and Eddie, that's what you were talking about in the first half. That initial push that always used to be able to jump back as long as he didn't make contact. Now offensive linemen are just trained, get up, point. He went, that made me move. It's got to be a penalty on them.
But even as an offense, right, don't you want the ability to run the free play? Like, no one was better.
Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So nobody was better at that in the last, I'd say, 10 years than Aaron Rodgers for hard count. Get the defense to jump. You know, the defense should be allowed to jump and then go back. There's so many rules against them. You know, what's wrong with that old rule? If they contacted the offensive lineman, then you were unabated to the quarterback. All that language is now out, and it's just, I can't stand when a lineman points. Stay in your stance, try to make a big play down the field.
Goes back to what we talked about in the first half. Self-awareness. Just say it was me. I did it. Put your hand up as Bahar undershoots on the far side his intended target.
You know, it's like throughout the eras of football, there's little things, right? Like now, if you're a defensive back and the receiver doesn't make the catch, even if they just flat out drop it, you're taught to kind of wave your arms incomplete, even though you didn't maybe do as much as knock it away. The offensive lineman pointing. Those little things in football, Matt, and I probably sound a lot older than I am right now, but those little things I think have changed the game, and I don't know if necessarily for the better.
3rd down and 5 for Monmouth. Their first 3rd down. Bahar flush from the pocket quickly. Still wants to throw. Doesn't have a whole lot to work with, and finally gets pushed out of bounds by the outside linebacker, Keith Earl.
There are two teams trading 3rd down stops. Monmouth came out and shut down Lafayette to begin things. Then the Leopards returned the favor to Monmouth. Now the difference is that Monmouth has the chance here to flip the field position if Colin McCreary can get off a good punt.
Here's McCreary on his first punt of the afternoon. Wow. That is a banger from Colin McCreary. Unfortunately, it goes out of the back of the end zone, but he really got underneath that one. It will come for a touchback, in Lafayette for the 2nd time in the quarter will get an opportunity to get some points on the board. Monmouth still with that advantage, 21-7.
I want it.
I can't believe it.
That car brought his karaoke machine.
Nothing but a heartache.
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
Tell me why. You say
No, Kevin.
no, Kevin. No.
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
One point.
Discover the new language of travel.
Bon voy.
Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards reimagined.
Whether it's the practice field or weight room, in class or on game day, we compete down here. We put in work, day in and day out, to take a step forward towards degrees, championships. Our goals? Excellence on every level. 11 schools, more than 4,000 student athletes, one attitude. We are the Big South, where winners are made.
NCAA Division I FCS football is a game of perseverance, integrity, passion, character, and sportsmanship. As he works to honor the game, every FCS student-athlete grows in his responsibilities as a student and as a member of his campus and community. Dedicated to personal growth and success in the classroom, the NCAA Division I FCS, every down, every day.
Get social with the Big South Conference. Join the always growing network of Big South fans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more. You can also follow the conference for game updates and on-site championship coverage via Twitter at Big South Game Day. Follow, watch, like, share with the Big South Conference. With Eddie Acapinti, I'm Matt Harmon. We welcome you back here to West Long Branch, New Jersey. 12:44 remaining in this third quarter. Second opportunity for Lafayette to get their hands on the football here in half number 2. Keegan Shoemaker has gone the distance so far. We were expecting to see a little bit of Cole Northrup. 11 of 18 so far of the day. Make it 11 of 19 now for Shoemaker. Pressure applied by Monmouth. Probably Eddie now with the ability to tee off just a little bit more.
Well, this time coming off the edge, the far side was Grimes, coming right into the face of Shoemaker. With Monmouth up 2 scores and Lafayette really not able to get much going on the ground, it has made them a bit one-dimensional in this game. Just 21 rushing yards on 15 carries.
Second down and 10. Monmouth showing pressure again on the give right up the middle. Coming in to make the tackle was Eric Massey, along with Powell, along with Kyle Mullen.
You can just see not a clean mesh point, and there's 3 Monmouth players right there at that point of attack when Simpson gets his hands on the ball. So now you are in a predictable throwing situation if you're Lafayette. 3rd and 10. Maybe draw or screen is the way to go here. And again, just want simple throws for Keegan Shoemaker.
A lot of 3rd and longs, though.
Yeah, it has been a lot this afternoon, and they have struggled on 3rd down in this game.
4 up, just 1 down. That's Kyle Mullen right over the center. Monmouth will rush all 5. Shoemaker does have time, goes over the middle, and that catch is made by Nick Pearson, who keeps his feet. Knee never hit. Pearson trying to explode towards the end zone inside the 10-5 touchdown. That is a senior recognizing his knee never hit.
Now, Monmouth had been getting pressure. This time they elect to play coverage with just the 1 down lineman. You could see it's definitely a good catch in completion, and that's an easy one. Pearson never gets knee down. He bounced on the tackler. I believe it was Hassan Chambers. And Monmouth defensively not aware. And just like that, Lafayette, which was 3rd and long and hadn't generated much of anything, in the latter stages of this game, the last few drives, Matt, they've been given second life with the heads-up play by Nick Pearson.
I'm sure they will take another look at it.
They can look at it 10 times. It's a touchdown.
The previous play is under review.
That was the signal from our referee letting us know that they will take a look at it, but the call on the field was a touchdown.
Well, we just got a great look at it with our crew in the truck. And first of all, Monmouth with, Matt, soft coverage, and they'd been getting pressure on Shoemaker. This is an easy one. His knee doesn't come close to hitting. Now, there would be the only time it could, but the official blocked our view. But I'm going to go ahead and say that it doesn't come close. That's 6 points for the Leopards and a huge play on 3rd and long.
Now, listen, unless there's another look from the other direction,
right,
that's what you have to go on. There's nothing that's going to overturn it.
But let's go, Matt, even before that. The fact that Monmouth dropped, really ate into coverage, and still allowed that easy of a completion, I think is alarming for them defensively. Well, there is that angle, and there is clear room between his knee and the field turf here.
Well, and look, you got 2 guys from Monmouth, short of Chambers, just standing and watching.
Yeah, you have Justin Terry and Jadir Charles staring. They don't hear a whistle because we didn't hear a whistle.
It's confirmed. Touchdown.
That's a touchdown, and that's one that will probably make the defensive coaches for Monmouth very unhappy.
Well, and who, we can be all frank here, who's the senior defensive coach on Monmouth's sideline? Right, their head coach, Kevin Callahan, who is a longtime D-back coach, defensive coordinator, and that's going to drive him in his 275th career game crazy.
On for the extra point is Jeff Kortenbrock. That gives Lafayette certainly second life. A big play. It winds up being an 80-yard touchdown pass. Pearson, the reception, Shoemaker the throw, and it's back to a one-score game at 21-14.
Just a huge play in this game, not only because it's a touchdown, but it was 3rd and long, and Monmouth had looked so good defensively. But let's give some big-time credit to freshman Keegan Shoemaker delivering the throw, and then obviously Pearson's recognition of knowing his knee didn't hit, of knowing that there was no whistle, and getting up and taking it the distance. That is a mental breakdown by Monmouth, and Matt, those are the plays that keep teams in games. Clean pocket, strong throw. Still surprised Monmouth didn't elect to bring pressure, to be honest, because they've been getting heat on Shoemaker really since about the middle part of the second quarter to now, and then Pearson outruns everyone to the end zone.
Here's the ensuing kickoff. It is O'Hara to kick it away. Very short kick coming up at the 15-yard line is Lonnie Moore. Gets to the 30, and Monmouth will have an opportunity to respond back after that somewhat strange play, but Lafayette has gotten their points. 21-14, Monmouth the advantage, 11:31 remaining in the third quarter. The Big South Network is brought to you in part by Geico. Big South alumni could save even more with an alumni discount from Geico. Visit geico.com/Big South today. And by Marriott, the official hotel partner of the Big South Conference, and by Sunbelt Rentals. We have equipment for that. You can see all the cars shuffling in, very fast driving in and out of the parking lot there. What's happening?
They were in a rush to get to this game, which now is a brand new football game after that big Lafayette touchdown.
After the return from Lonnie Moore IV, Monmouth has it at their own 31-yard line. And for maybe the first time today, this Hawk offense feeling a little pressure to move the football. Guerrero off the left side. Good blocking up front. Saw John Galena out of the guard position, just leading the way, and Guerrero will get himself 6 on the carry.
Well, Guerrero should be rested because we haven't seen him in a long time. And Monmouth's running the ball over 5 yards a carry. New game here. I think if they look to do what they've done a lot the last 2 years, Matt, which is let this offensive line go out and assert its physical play, that's what you want to see on this drive. You want to see Monmouth, if you're the Hawks, beat up Lafayette up front.
We've got a timeout, I think, before the play.
Timeout, Monmouth. It's their first charge timeout.
Hawks will use the first timeout. 21-14, Monmouth with the advantage. It is 2nd and 4.
That time they just didn't look in sync. And right now, Monmouth in need of a drive offensively, partner, because what Lafayette was able to do. They get that big play on the 3rd and long, and now Monmouth, not that they're up against it, but they're in need of a drive.
Well, they are, and I said maybe for the first time today, the offense feeling a little bit of pressure to move the football. Last time, which was right before the break, Monmouth had gotten the ball back after Lafayette had scored their touchdown, went right down the field and scored. And listen, you mentioned it, veteran quarterback. Now it's Kenji Bahar's turn to be able to say, okay, guys, now we got to put some points back on the board.
Well, look at your offense and say it's time for us to get points, and it's time for us to go down and make a drive here if you're Monmouth. But if you're Lafayette, you go out, you got to stop. You got a chance to score to tie this game, where the end of that first half that you referenced, partner, was through the air. If I'm Monmouth here, I am relying on Pete Guerrero in that offensive line.
2nd and 4 off the Monmouth timeout. It is Guerrero. Breaks one. Gets to midfield. Now cuts back 40-yard line. Look at Guerrero go inside the 30, wrapped up at the 25-yard line. Pete Guerrero doing much of that himself. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Hawks.
Well, there's times you have to let your athletes be athletes, and that's what Monmouth does here with Pete Guerrero. I'll tell you, there's good blocking downfield. There is a player down trailing the play that we'll get to after this, as Guerrero picks up 100 yards for the 2nd straight game to begin this season, as they are now tending to a Monmouth offensive lineman.
It's Brian Syracuse, number 72.
Yeah, he's back at the 35. You mentioned it, though. It wasn't the line on that last play. It really was Guerrero and some good downfield blocking that sprung him.
Guerrero's such an interesting story. Think back to that pictures that we showed you from the first game here at Monmouth Stadium and Guerrero scoring that touchdown. At that point, he was an unknown commodity, a freshman who was more of a track guy than anything else. He's now become a full-fledged football player in his 3rd year with this Monmouth offense.
Well, there's an old offensive lineman. I know he's slimmed down since those days, but Jeff Gallo was an offensive lineman here for Monmouth. He knows how important it is to run the football and to win at the point of attack. Did we tell him, by the way, he's going to be on camera, or is he just that cool and calm all the time?
Don't know the answer to that.
Like, thank goodness they just don't take candid video of us in the booth.
No, that would be a bit of a mess. Bahar rolling to his left. He'll tuck it and run, nothing downfield. Pick up a couple before he steps out of bounds around the 22-yard line.
You know, something that we saw the last time Monmouth got the football down here. They ran it in the red zone successfully before Bahar threw that touchdown pass to Alderelli. See what they do here, as DeVell Jones will be the running back next to Kenji Bahar.
2nd and 7. Jones on the ground. Coming right. Fumbles the football. Lafayette gets it. As he turned upfield, it came out. Good hit delivered. The recovery from the senior Ryan Barnett. Lafayette has second life.
Well, DeVell Jones doesn't do this very often. We've mentioned how he's slimmer and how he's able to get outside more, but he very rarely would take a second hand off the football, and he did so here as he tried to get outside. And that is a mistake by a veteran at this juncture of the game you just flat out can't have if you're Monmouth. But if you're Lafayette and Ryan Barnett and company, second life. And now they have a chance to go out and tie the game up here with 9 and change to go in the 3rd. This game looks more like last year's game between these two, Matt, than it did the game 2 years ago.
It has completely flipped the script from the first half to now the 3rd quarter. Shoemaker trying to tightrope the sideline, throws it up for grabs. Catch is made. Was he in bounds? They will rule him in. Great grab from Joe Gillette.
Well, Tymir Berry's in coverage for Monmouth. Well, he's there and just loses the football, and then Gillette goes and makes a fantastic catch. That he gets 1 foot down. To be honest, Matt, he might have got 2 down.
4th catch of the day for Joe Gillette. There's a penalty that's been thrown on the far sideline.
False start. Offense. 87. Lined up in the neutral zone.
Penalty coming against Lafayette will back them up 5.
We got to go back, Matt, to the long play. Your Shoemaker buying time. Now watch Monmouth's Tymir Berry, who's normally very good ball skills and coverage, but he kind of lets himself drift out of the play. And he did get 2 feet down. It's a great call by our producer, Gary Colwall, in our ear. He said, hey, that's a catch on Sundays, too.
1st and 15 with the penalty. Back in Lafayette territory. Shoemaker in trouble. Shoemaker this time is sacked back to the 45-yard line. Evan Powell continues his fine play. Comes in and gets the sack.
He has been a menace in the Lafayette backfield in this game. And that's where Monmouth's going to need to look to get a stop, is in that front 7. The pocket collapses around. You can see Powell in there as well as Nick Shoemaker. Big loss on that play. 2nd down and 20.
Just over 8 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Shoemaker trying to set up the screen. Has Simpson on the outside flank. Back into Lafayette territory. He'll get about 8. A at least more manageable 3rd and long coming.
Well, here's what that 8-yard gain did. Now, at 3rd and 12 or so, Lafayette maybe, Matt, doesn't need to get all 12 yards. Maybe they get 6, and they're going to try to go for it. Because if they can get the ball closer to the 40-yard line, they're probably in 4-down territory.
Third, let's call it 11. Shoemaker has time. Hit as he releases it, goes to the sideline and runs out of real estate. There is a flag that was thrown. Coming in with pressure was Kyle Mullen.
Well, they were down around the ankles of Shoemaker.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Going low on the quarterback. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
We know that that's a penalty on Sunday as well, Matt. And they do try to protect the legs of the quarterback. It extends the Saturday as well. And even though Shoemaker didn't hit the ground, they're going to get Kyle Mullen on that play for going low.
Don't like it because I feel like Mullen was pushed by the offensive lineman. His head, if you look at it, his head was down looking at the turf. He's not sure that Shoemaker have thrown the football.
And I agree, but that's not that's not a penalty with intent behind it. It's literally just, did you do it or not? And while you're right, while he probably did get pushed down there, they do protect the quarterback. And that's, it's an unfortunate situation for Monmouth, but Lafayette with more second life.
Little screen set up. This time Gay gets it. And will work his way down to the 26-yard line. Gain there of 6. Will leave Lafayette with a 2nd and 4. Great turnaround here for the Leopards. They want to go quick. They've got momentum on their side. Stopped that time is John Gay by the good outside linebacker Eric Massey, who comes up to make the tackle.
And Massey has a strong start to the season going. And he typically is counted on to generate pass rush, but he's pretty stout against the run. You could see he's thickly built at that edge position. So here's the same scenario we just had. Probably 4-down territory again for Lafayette here on 3rd and 7. So it keeps the playbook a bit more open.
6.5 and rolling in this 3rd quarter. Shoemaker wants it all. Looking towards the goal line. This is intercepted if he stayed in bounds. Anthony Budd comes down with it. Referees will talk about it. It probably will come with another look, but what an athletic play from the safety, Anthony Budd.
But when that ball was thrown, Budd was in the middle of the field, and he's got to cover all that ground. Makes the catch, goes hand down, and it looks like that right hand hits. That's the hand hit, and I don't know if he might have even got a foot down, but Matt, once that right hand hits and it's in bounds, I think that's going to stand, and if it does, it's one of the best plays you could hope for from a free safety, covering, I don't know, 40 yards in the air.
Certainly worthwhile of another look, but again, knowing that you've got to have evidence to turn it over, I'm not sure that you're going to see it unless there's an angle that shows Bud's hand in the white.
What a play, though. When that, first of all, his right foot lands. So the hand
take the hand out.
Doesn't
if his
matter.
foot hits first, then he's in bounds.
And he's got that tape on his foot so we can see. Boom, right foot. I think the right hand is in too, but the right foot is in, and that'll be an interception. So now we can go from talking about the replay, Matt, to talking about the play. When that ball left Shoemaker's hand, Bud was at the hash to cover that much ground in the air. Very impressive play by Anthony Budd, who is really becoming a leader for Monmouth defensively. That's a game-changing kind of play for a guy who replaced Mike Basile at Monmouth, which, you know, one of those unenviable roles. You know, whenever you have to replace a great coach or a great player, and Bud is really coming along. He was injured parts of last year, but he has these kinds of talent and capability. That is unbelievable.
Good stretch, good athleticism, and a pretty good look right to the right of the opposite goalpost. You can see his foot comes down.
The Warrior on the field stands. We have a touchback.
Yeah, that's a good call and a good interception for Anthony Budd. And it comes, Eddie, with Lafayette driving for what could have been the tying touchdown.
Well, they had just had their drive extended on a roughing the passer penalty. And this game very much hangs in the balance here because of some penalties, some mental mistakes, some players capitalizing and making big plays. But now we kind of can catch our breath here, 6:12 to go in the third quarter.
Out to the 20-yard line. Guerrero gets his number called. Stacked up a yard or two over the line of scrimmage. Schaefer and Thrasher on the tackle.
You know, you and I were in Pennsylvania last year.
For an injured player.
Another injury here. You and I were at this game each of the last 2 years, but, you know, last year, I remember you and I looked at each other and just said, you know, 2 years ago it was pretty one-sided with Monmouth beating Lafayette, and then last year it was competitive. And I think it's pretty safe to say that this Lafayette team, you and I talked about this way back when, John Garrett bringing them along, they've come pretty far, and they are definitely an improved football team.
Find the best variety of officially licensed merchandise, in-conference and school-branded items at BigSouthStore.com. Gear up with some new apparel or find that perfect gift. Get fully equipped for all your game day fun with BigSouthStore.com.
And they're helping Thrasher off the field. Lafayette's lost a couple guys in this game, and they have, I think their depth, Matt, has been on display here. We've seen more guys making plays, and the senior from Atlanta will walk off. But Lafayette was down 21-7, and Monmouth was moving the ball, but credit to John Garrett and his staff for not only keeping them in the game, the big play to Pearson. You know, this is a step forward for this Leopards team that in year 3 of John Garrett is looking to do just that in the Patriot League and keep moving forward.
Looking ahead next week, the Leopards will be home for the first time this season. They will entertain Sacred Heart. Monmouth back at home next week as well. They've got former conference rival, Albany.
Both of a lot of NEC flavor next week's games. Well, former for a couple of teams.
5.5 and running in the third. Monmouth up by 7. Guerrero waiting for something to open up. He'll just chip away and get 4, maybe 5 over the 25, close to the 27-yard line. Schaefer again with the tackle.
We know Guerrero's a big play waiting to happen, but that's the evolution of Pete Guerrero's game, is getting those tough yards right in the middle, and then he's able to stay on the field in a situation like this at 3rd and 3. I wouldn't be shocked if Monmouth Matt ran it again.
Trips off to the left. Guerrero circles out of the backfield. Bahar looking, comes across the field. Big catch attempt, and then a flag that follows. Lonnie Moore, the 4th, could not hang on to the football. I think the flag is going to be on a hit up towards the head.
It was kind of weird because it was sandwiched towards the sideline, and it wasn't that big launch hit that you normally see when a call like this is made. But if they rule that a player was going to the head, that's where.
Early on the field, we have an incomplete pass, but we have targeting, number 21, defense. It's a 15-yard penalty. The previous play is under review.
Schaefer called for targeting. They will look at that.
Well, they've got to look at it because if it's Matt with intent, could spell the end of the afternoon for Schaefer. So let's see. Ooh. That might be, you could be looking at that. And it is indeed a dangerous hit that involved launching. It didn't look like it, Matt, because of where it was on the field, but by the letter of the law, that's going to be pretty close.
And you would think, too, and I hate to say there's a gray area, in the second game of the year, you almost are probably more apt to call it than maybe later in the season.
Well, and you have to look, too, where, first of all, after looking at it from that angle.
That's a bad angle right there.
Yeah, that angle doesn't help Schaefer. He's not helped by the fact that Lonnie Moore is 5'10", and he was going to the ground, but that's not what the law was written for. You know, it's like the penalty we saw on Monmouth, on Mullen for the roughing the passer. You can't go low on a quarterback, and here they are rightfully so legislating out launching hits towards the head, and that's what that is.
That's going to be a target. I mean, I'd be hard-pressed to think that's not targeting. Unfortunately for Schaefer, who, by the way, has had a fantastic football game. He's been all over the place making tackles for Lafayette and has played a good, clean game. He's got 8 tackles so far on the day.
Yeah, and I'm
not saying it's a dirty play.
Exactly. It's not a malicious play, but that is targeting.
After further review, the ruling on the field of targeting of number 21 is confirmed. Number 21 is disqualified.
And that's the unfortunate part of a play that, again, is not malicious in intent, but by the definition of the penalty, that's the correct call against Schaefer. And his great afternoon has to end because Lonnie Moore went to the ground. He didn't stay up, and that hit wasn't to his abdomen. It was to his head. And because of all those situations, unfortunately, the sophomore from Warrington, Pennsylvania's game is over, and prematurely because he was playing, as you said, partner, a fantastic game.
With the 15-yard penalty, Monmouth also keeps the football. Here's Bahar. Had a big lane to run through. Instead, will reverse pivot out, keep his feet, and now finally get tripped up. Good pressure by Hurlbrink. That's one, Eddie, that you'd think if we can watch that play maybe again, if you're Kenji Bahar and you're a fifth-year senior, you either throw that football away or you tuck it and run. I know you're trying to buy time, but if it's not there, it's not there.
Well, and there is a time where you have to, there's a clock in your head that you have to make a play or that you have to make a decision. And that is something I would say that is a strength of Kenji Bahar's. Typically, he's got a pretty good clock in his mind, but that time it failed him just a bit.
2nd and 15 after the 5-yard loss. Guerrero trying to get to the edge, and he does. Pete Guerrero, good hole off that right side. Takes it into Lafayette territory, tripped up around the 40-yard line, gain of about 22.
Well, what Pete Guerrero is saying to his offense is, hey, you got to lean on me. Give me the ball. Now, we'll see the end of the run. There is a flag thrown at the 48-yard line. And the way they're walking is this will be an offensive penalty.
It's going to be a hold.
Number 86. It's a 10-yard penalty for the spotted foul. Second down.
On Sean Clark, the tight end. Was thrown at the Monmouth 45, so it's a 10-yard penalty from there back to the 35. So the 22-yard run from Guerrero gets negated. And Monmouth now with a 2nd and about 18. It's Guerrero again, this time well defended. Keith Earl called his name a bunch, making the stop. Ryan Dickens, the inside linebacker there as well. Third now and 15 for this Hawk team. Under 3 remaining. Screen set up. It's Lonnie Moore to catch it. Moore trying to get to the sideline, dancing around. There's flags coming in as well. Stopped about 5 yards shy of the first down.
Holding. Number 86, offense. 10-yard penalty. The spotted foul.
Another penalty coming on Sean Clark. That's his 2nd holding in the series.
I know that, this will set Monmouth back even further. And maybe I'm alone in this thinking, but why in the world don't you decline that penalty? I know it's field position, but now you give Monmouth another chance to theoretically convert a 3rd down where you could have made it 4th down. So let's see. Got to find number 86, Sean Clark, and it's not hard because he's 6'8", and there he was tackling Marco Olivas. But maybe I'm wrong here, Matt. Isn't 4th down better than 3rd and 20?
I would agree. You want the ball back. Why even give the team another chance?
Well, now Monmouth throws it downfield. There's a pass interference. It's a 1st down.
3rd and 20. Bahar again running. This time lets it go. Didn't have anybody open at all. And it'll set up 4th down and long.
I'll tell you what you've seen. You've seen in this game, Lafayette, specifically their front, I think really make a difference and turn this game around. Maybe not the sack numbers, but they have pressured Kenji Bahar. They force him to escape the pocket. And you have seen, Matt, I would make the case, Lafayette play better for longer because I think it's a testament that this is only a 7-point game and they've been outgained by 100 yards.
End over end wobbly kick for McCreary. Takes a decent Monmouth bounce. It's picked up and going backwards. Interesting decision by Joe Gillette, who may regret it unless he can turn upfield, of which he does a little bit. And the tackle actually winds up being made by the punter in McCreary. 1:58 to go in the 3rd quarter. Monmouth with that 7-point advantage. Hawks lead it 21-14. Leopard football when we come back. 21-14, look inside the Monmouth running back contingent under the direction of the RB coach Sam Dorsett. Let's take a look at our Sunbelt Rentals out-of-town scores. Interesting for Kennesaw State, team that was picked towards the top of the league. An overtime loss at FBS Kent State. We're having a little bit of a technical issue in the truck, so we, at some point, will get to the out-of-town scores.
You came into that game, you had an idea. Kent State, even though they're breaking in, or excuse me, Kennesaw State, even though they're breaking in all these new players, new quarterback, what Brian Bohannon's been able to build, they're just a program.
It's a system.
It's a system. It's a program, man. They're just good. And they lost in overtime at Kent State. Partner, there's another game in overtime right now in Ann Arbor that we're keeping an eye on as well. But also you had Charleston Southern, tough game at South Carolina. And again, hopefully they're okay weather-wise down there. We know what's going on down there with Hurricane Dorian.
First down and 10 here for Lafayette. Leopards have been able to hang around in this game. Good, strong throw by Shoemaker, who's getting better as the game goes on. Finds Nick Pearson, who's got his 5th catch, up over 100 yards.
You know, I wanted to say earlier that, remember when Sean O'Malley was impressive in his first career game a couple years ago in this stadium? And I remember thinking, Lafayette's going to be set for a long time. But then they go out and recruit a guy like Keegan Shoemaker. He has been impressive. He has stood in the face of a rush, delivered some timely passes. He's got his team down 7 with 90 seconds to go in the third.
16 of 25 for 226 yards. Shoemaker gets it here. Another throw, another completion, and it's Pearson again, who's got his 6th of the day.
And obviously the big one is the 80-yard touchdown when everyone thought he was down except Pearson and the officials, and you and I would say. He's made some big plays in the passing game. This is where they've struggled, though, is running the football. There's Massey getting upfield.
Simpson dropped in the backfield for a sizable loss. Eric Massey, Jr. out of Teaneck, New Jersey. Went to one of the top high school programs in the Garden State, Bergen Catholic.
They play yesterday, too?
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I know what a wild day in New Jersey high school football yesterday was, huh?
Start of the season. New Jersey always regarded as one of the better states that plays high school football in the country. 3 receiver, make it a 4 receiver set. Stiliano standing up as a slot receiver. Over the middle, nobody home on the throw from Shoemaker. It falls incomplete on 3rd and 9, and Lafayette will have to give it back to Monmouth.
Shoemaker, and having a word with his coach, John Garrett now, he was jazzed up, missing high and hard with that one. Had some zip behind it as they go through the pictures again. But the stop that Monmouth needed is now this punt will go into the wind here late in the 3rd quarter.
Morales standing around his own 37. Wobbly kick. He will come up a step or two, call for and make a fair catch at the 40. So short field to work with for Monmouth for at least one play here at the end of the 3rd. Hawks still have that 21-14 advantage. It'll be Bahar. It's been certainly a sluggish 3rd quarter for Monmouth offensively. On the ground, Guerrero picks up 2, and that will take us to the end of the 3rd. Still lots to play for in the final 15 minutes. Monmouth looked like they might run away with it. Lafayette has come back with a touchdown in the 3rd. Make it a 7-point game as we head to the 4th. Great news, Big South fans. Big South alumni could save even more on Geico Car Insurance with a special discount. Visit geico.com/Big South for a free quote today. With Eddie Acapinti, I'm Matt Harmon. We're back here to start the fourth quarter. It is Monmouth football. They've got it 2nd and 8. Here's Lonnie Moore in motion. They'll flip it to him. Moore will break a tackle, stretch towards midfield. Not quite get to the first down marker, but a good overall run. Flag came in very late at the end.
It was hard to see. It's on the far side amongst all the kind of the massive humanity.
Based on the body language of Moore as he's walking back to the huddle, I would say this is against
After the
Monmouth.
play, personal foul, late hit, 86, offense. It's a 15-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Another penalty, and it comes on Sean Clark again. He had 2 holding penalties in the 3rd quarter and now gets an unsportsmanlike late hit.
Fifth-year senior that knows better, right? Someone that's played a lot of football. You figure someone that would be smarter than that. That's the flag at the end of the play. Man, I'll be honest. I'd thought the play was over, and I kind of had looked down and had gotten ready to move on to the next thing. But that is a mental mistake in a close football game that you just simply can't have.
It sets up 3rd and 16. Bahar with time. Stepping up, trying to tightrope the line of scrimmage. Now has to tuck it and run and gets dragged down by Colin Hurlbrink. Well, the penalty, it would have been 3rd and probably 1.5 yards. We'll see right at the end here. Clark with a little bit of a push into a player that was down on the ground. Wasn't necessarily a late hit, it was more of a late shove.
I need to see a little more than that. That didn't seem like 15-yard caliber.
McCreary into the wind, angles it towards the sideline. It takes a real good roll inside the 15, stops right around the 10.
You know what would probably constitute a penalty, what wouldn't, and you're not sure what's said either, you know, the intent on things. Regardless, it's called by the official, and to go from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 16 in a 7-point game that qualifies as a mental mistake. But how about the game Colin McCreary's had? You know, and he had that booming punt earlier here, downing at the 10. The last time he had a Monmouth uniform on, he was hitting home runs for the baseball team in the MAC tournament.
It'll set up 1st and 10 for Lafayette, who still has an opportunity to tie it up. Under pressure, this will be a sack in the end zone. It should be a safety. They'll mark it right outside the goal line. Lowell Kelly Gamble coming in. They'll say first contact, I guess, right there. I think his foot was in the end zone.
They do give the quarterback the benefit of the doubt more times than not on those kind of plays. You know, they really want both of your feet to be in the end zone. Now, Shoemaker didn't do himself many favors because he was backing up, but they do give that first contact call, and you can't get any closer to the end zone if you're Lafayette.
2nd and 19. Give going to Simpson. He's stacked up at the 2-yard line. Little bit of breathing room, but still 3rd and long coming.
I mean, you watch as much football as I do, Matt, and you know that it's got to be kind of obvious for it to be called a safety, and this is probably right on that line of what is or is not a safety.
Good angle here to take a look at it.
So they're going to call it there. He kind of gave himself up at the 1-yard line. I would say that.
He'd make a good politician.
Well, kind of what this job is, if you think about it.
Big third down here. Opportunity for Monmouth to pin the Leopards deep and force a punt. Shoemaker wants to throw. Catch is made. By Ryan Montaigne.
So the McCreary punt and then defensive stand. Now you really flip the field position because you don't give your punter a whole lot of room. He's got about one step behind him. You need to, if you're Lafayette, this snap's got to be good. And it does have the wind at its back, but they are way backed up.
It's Ryan O'Hara who will have to deal with it. Morales waiting. He's on the plus side for Monmouth. Spiraling kick. Morales has it played perfectly at the 45-yard line. He'll get to the 35-30. Comes near sideline, 25. Make sure that he holds onto the football and down to about the 23-yard line.
Couple of nice returns in this game for young Eddie Morales for Monmouth. This was a good punt, not great, not a whole bunch of hang time. Makes one man miss and then just reads his blocks. I'm not sure where the punt coverage team is. There's a lot of room in the middle of the field for Morales to operate as Monmouth now is already close to field goal range, probably is in field goal range for senior kicker Matt Mascara.
And that's the trick now if you're Monmouth. Try and make it, again, a two-score game. Bahar looking right, looking left, and will throw it over the top. They had screens set up both direction. It'll bring up a 2nd and 10.
You can see Monmouth trying to set something up left, and it just never materialized. And we have seen some, I'll say this to be the politician, as you said earlier, we've seen some really good defensive football here in the second half for both these teams, and the offenses have both sputtered.
Bahar going to roll to his right. Looking, directing traffic. Doesn't have anything down the field again, and will again give up the down.
Maybe you feel confident you're already in 4-3, but you're kicking into the wind, and you come out and go pass, screen, rollout. Now, I thought we'd see a steady dose of Pete Guerrero on this drive, but instead now Monmouth with 3rd and 10, leading just by 7.
I would tend to agree, Eddie. Why not let Guerrero keep his hands on it?
He's getting 7 yards a pop.
Now 3rd and 10. Bahar for the 3rd straight down, going to throw. Going to look to the end zone. Wants his man. Terrence Green cannot hang on to the football. Gave it a good effort. Just unable to keep it as he hits the playing surface.
He does a great job of locating the football, getting high point. It's just when he comes down, the collision with the ground. And the problem is his body wasn't under him, so that ball didn't land on his chest. It landed on the turf. Tremendous effort, but 3 straight incompletions, and Monmouth now has to try a field goal.
It was Eric Mitchell on the coverage, and actually Mitchell coming in, kind of swiping out Terrence Green's legs. 40-yard attempt for Mascara is right through. So it does give Monmouth the 2-score advantage, 24-14. Hawks now up by 10. We take a timeout. We're back for more 4th quarter action. For the best in the Big South, visit BigSouthSports.com. Stay current with the latest news, results, stats, standings, and much more. Enjoy video features showcasing remarkable student athletes, or connect to school sites or social media outlets, all from one place. Remember, the source for all of your conference information is BigSouthSports.com. A 4-play drive that didn't get any yards but results in points for Monmouth, with the field goal from Matt Mascara from 40 yards out. Mascara 3 for 3 on the day. He'll pooch another one, and a fair catch is called for and made off on that far side by Steven Stylianos.
You know, where that ball now ends up, it's kind of like kicking it deep and having a fair catch. You know, I'm surprised more college teams don't take advantage of that rule. You know, last week at Western Michigan, I think only happened one time where if you're inside the 25 and you fair catch the kickoff, you get it there. I mean, wouldn't you sign for first 10 at the 25 more times than not?
Sure.
Right?
At the 27 is where this one will start. Lafayette pressured immediately is Shoemaker, and dropped immediately is Shoemaker. Russ Davidson, the senior out of New Providence, New Jersey, with the sack.
He just comes right up the middle, untouched. I am not terribly sure what Alex Barshaba was doing, but he was not blocking Russell Davidson, who came unblocked up the middle, literally through the A-gap.
7-yard loss makes it 2nd and 17. Shoemaker, quick throw to the outside. Spigner has it. Gets back 6 of the 7 lost yards.
Unlike before, we kept saying when Lafayette had it in plus territory, they were near 4-down territory. This they need to pick up. Now, you can't go too far out of your offense, but Matt, you're starting to get to that time of the game. Possessions are limiting. You're down 2 scores. Lafayette going to flood the right side of the formation with 4 wide, man in motion.
It's Gillette who comes across the formation. 3 right, 2 left. Shoemaker stepping up in the pocket again. This is batted down at the sideline. The coverage for Hassan Chambers, the intended target, Julius Young.
Well, the coverage on the back end was good for Monmouth. You could see they're playing coverage. There is some pressure coming in. And as that throw got towards the sideline, Chambers did a good job of kind of boxing out that receiver and using the sideline as his friend. And that's the stop that Kevin Callahan's team needed.
On to punt is Ryan O'Hara. Wobbly kick. It takes a bounce over Morales, who sees it out to the far sideline around the 18-yard line. This is certainly, maybe, Eddie, since halftime, the best opportunity for Monmouth to try and salt this game away with a scoring drive and an opportunity to make it a 3-score game.
Well, 9:21 to go, 4th quarter. Maybe this is the drive where Monmouth looks to really reassert its ground dominance in this game. They've run for 179, buck 37 of those coming from Pete Guerrero.
On the ground, Monmouth will go. Great move by Guerrero right at the line of scrimmage. Then a good job just to hang on to it. Yasir Thomas coming in to make the tackle.
Well, there's that little move we see in the backfield, the hesitation. Le'Veon Bell-esque move, let the play develop in front of you, then hit the hole hard.
Another one on the ground for Guerrero. That is his 22nd carry of the day.
Well, first time that we'll see DeVell Jones, Matt, since he put it on the turf, as he'll come in. 3rd and 1, his normal short yardage roll.
Let's go! Let's go!
Monmouth using the play clock. Bahar now sets it up. Will give it to Jones. Only with, I think, a little bit of a second push. Is he going to be able to stake claim to a first down?
Oh, they just gave it to him. They took a long look at it. He stopped here initially. A surge by Colin Hurlbrink, but it was that second effort that got DeVell Jones the first down.
New set of downs here for Monmouth and a opportunity under 8 to work the clock. It's Guerrero coming right at you to the 30-yard line, gain of only a yard. I just feel like, in thinking of Jeff Gallo, who's the new offensive coordinator for Monmouth, Lafayette, obviously knowing Monmouth wants to run the football here, try and work the clock a little bit. What a good opportunity. I know you'll love this because you can say it on any down if it's up to you. Why not take a shot down the field?
Well, if you know you can kind of gain the yards you want on the ground, and I agree, but you know what? I would even advocate for not doing that in this down and distance if you're Monmouth. I don't think there's anything wrong with keeping it in between the tackles and Pete Guerrero's arms.
Bahar will give it to Guerrero. Back to the line of scrimmage. You want to change your answer?
You know why I don't? Because now
Think about it.
The clock's running, your defense is resting. And I'll tell you what, you know, it was really impressive a week ago. We haven't called him too much, but Major Jordan had 12 stops last week, and that's what he did a lot of against William and Mary. But I still, there's 20 seconds on the play clock. I mean, Monmouth could look to bring this all the way down near the 6-minute mark with a 2-score lead.
Trips off to the right side. Jones back in at the running back spot. Bahar here will throw. Has time. Safe pass over the middle. Caught by Alderelli. Just a 3-yard gain. Monmouth will have to punt it away on what will be 4th and 5.
So Lafayette gets the stop that it needs, as they'll get it back down 2 scores, and you know, in need, I think of, you know, Matt, they had that big play to Pearson when everyone thought that he was down, and he clearly wasn't. That's the kind of play they're in the need for. It needs some infusion of a big play. Probably would come in the passing game.
McCreary on to punt. Blocked! Lafayette in. They'll scoop it up inside the 10-yard line. The Leopards again making just enough of a play to have a shot.
We were sitting here talking about Lafayette needing a play in the passing game, but it's special teams is right up the middle, untouched. It's blocked by Ryan Montaigne, and then it's scooped up, and now the Leopards, Matt, have it 1st and goal with 5.5 to go. Olivas, the player who recovered it. And now that far sideline of Lafayette Leopards is jazzed up. They can kind of feel it here.
Montaigne more of a blocker in the Lafayette offense. A key special teams play. Back to work. Shoemaker. Here comes pressure. They want the screen set up to Gay. That's incomplete.
I wasn't sure if McCreary took a little too long, but it seemed like the normal, 1-2. He just had intense heat on him right away. You never talk about special teams until you need to, And that was a massive play in this football game.
Gay the single back. Taggart in motion. On the ground for the freshman, wrapped up quick. Shot out of a cannon. The safety, Hassan Chambers.
Oh, he sets the edge well there, right through the thigh of Gay. A good form tackle. Watch 24 like a missile. Just shoot right into him. And that is what they teach you. That is a perfect form tackle.
Lafayette losing a couple of yards. Back here on what is 3rd and goal. Interesting if they get to 4th and goal and they kick the field goal.
You kick, you get the guaranteed points.
Shoemaker rolling right, stopping, throwing, has a man, touchdown. Great pitch and catch. Spigner in the corner of the end zone. Lafayette back to within 4.
Lafayette says, what field goal talk? They roll the quarterback, Shoemaker, right. Spigner had a huge drop in this game earlier, but atoning for it here with a massive catch in the corner of the end zone.
Huge extra point coming right now for Jeff Cordenbrock. Just to try and get it back to 3. Pushing it through the upright and make it 24-21. Don't go anywhere quite yet with 4:38 remaining.
Lafayette may have found itself a quarterback. The true freshman, Keegan Shoemaker, brings the Leopards to within 24-21.
Well, Monmouth hasn't made it easy on themselves, Eddie. This latest block punt, a turnover. There's the DeVell Jones fumble. That has really helped keep Lafayette in this football game, and it's just a 3-point game right now.
The Monmouth has outgained Lafayette by 150 yards in this game. At times, they have been able to move the football up and down, but the miscues and some mental mistakes have helped keep the Leopards in this game, as well as the strong play of true freshman quarterback Keegan Shoemaker, who right there was talking to John Garrett as head coach. 256 yards, 2 scores in a 24-21 game.
Cordenbrock with the kickoff. Castronova back deep, Moore back deep. Falls off the tee. Good boot. Moore will see it out of the back of the end zone, and on will come Monmouth.
You're really in need of a drive to go win the football game. Lafayette right now has the momentum. They have outscored Monmouth 14-3 in the second half, but the bigger thing is how solid they've been defensively, and they have really, to this point after halftime, solved, it seems, Monmouth and quarterback Kenji Bahar. A big drive here for Monmouth to try to win its first football game of the season.
Monmouth with 4:38 remaining. It has been a little hit or miss here in this half for the Hawks offensively. Pass to the outside. Misconnect between Bahar and Moore.
You know, I think that time Monmouth coming out and surprising some people, throwing it on first down. This is a drive where you need to take time off the clock if you were Monmouth. Maybe make Lafayette use their timeouts. Now, 2nd and 10, you almost telegraph it needing to be a rundown.
2nd and 10. Guerrero in the backfield. Scott as the H-back. 4-man front for the Leopards. Bahar wants to throw again. He will flip it in the flat. Big first down catch for Lonnie Moore, who's got some room in front of him into Leopard territory with a flag thrown on the far side, right around the 42-yard line. This one likely coming back.
Well, that was the big play that Monmouth needed. And we'll see. We reference some of those mistakes.
Blocking the back. Number 2, offense. It's a 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. 2nd down.
Not sure how it could be on Lonnie Moore, who caught the football.
Well, I mean, I'm no genius here, but I'm probably going to assume they meant number 3, Joey Alderelli, but let's see. There's Moore. There's
right
the
there.
block in the back on
Yep.
Alderelli. So
they did correct it on the field as well. So it negates what would have been a first down and an opportunity to get in the Lafayette territory. It is a spot foul, so back to the 32, sets up 2nd and 4. Guerrero to get it on the ground. Only a yard up the middle.
Yeah, Lafayette committing 9 of their 11 defensive players to the line of scrimmage. Only the 2 corners singled up on the outside. They pretty much, they weren't hiding what they were trying to do, and Jordan's had some big moments here late in the game. A huge 3rd down here.
Right now, the biggest moment of the game. 3rd and 2, DeVell Jones in. 3.5 to go. Lafayette does still have all 3 timeouts. Again, a crowded box inside. Here's Jones lowering the shoulder, not going to get it. He got hit low and was unable to get that last little push. The referee will come over and take a look at it. I think they'll measure, but looking at it right now, I don't think Jones has enough.
Well, let's see. The yard to gain is the 35, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, it's going to be well short. I'm not sure if this measurement was asked for, but it's going to be a football and a half short. Watch him stretch it. Ooh, I was wrong. It's 2 footballs short.
Seemed like a pretty easy look. You got to get to the 35-yard line, and the football's not at the 35-yard line.
Well,
does Monmouth dare go for it here, Eddie?
Well, I'll tell you what they're doing is they're at least staying on the field for the illusion that they will go for it. This is some next level football stuff here. If you believe that you can gain a yard in this situation, you go for it. But it is at the minus 35-yard line.
Bahar motioning out of the backfield, which leaves DeVell Jones as the snap taker. Monmouth will go for it. Jones has the first down and more. Monmouth with a gamble back at their own 35-yard line. It pays off with a 15-yard run from Jones.
What a call. What a play. Kevin Callahan, as Lafayette takes timeout, Matt, Kevin Callahan gambling a bit. And the direct snap to DeVell Jones. He reads his blockers. He almost broke it. And that's probably the play that's going to be the difference maker in this game. And how about DeVell Jones? Fumbled earlier, getting the big fourth down conversion.
A little bit of revenge for Jones. And now Lafayette with just 2 timeouts remaining. Jones is a fifth-year guy you know was eating at him with that fumble. Here running hard, keeping the football, going right through the attempted tackle and strip of Keith Earl. Hawks will take their time here. They will also stay with that wildcat look. Jones off the right side. Second timeout by the Leopards. Both of these teams will have 2 in the books before both being back to work next Saturday. We'll see first if we can take a peek at our Sunbelt Rental out-of-town scoreboard, which we promised you earlier, and there it is. The overtime loss for Kennesaw State. Mercer leading Presbyterian 28-0. Still to kick, Gardner-Webb at East Carolina. North Alabama visiting Montana. Virginia Union at Hampton. Shaw will play at Campbell. And a final in the books as South Carolina taking care of Charleston Southern 72-10. Leopards with 1 timeout remaining. The question is, do you use it in between second and third or in between potentially third and fourth? Jones again out of that wildcat look. Just looking for a hole, and we'll get 5. We'll leave Monmouth 2 short of a game icing first down. That is Lafayette's 3rd and final timeout. We mentioned upcoming schedules for both of these teams. Both will be back in action next week. Here's what's coming for the Leopards. Back at home for their home opener with Sacred Heart at Albany. Home for Penn at Princeton, and then the Patriot League opener at Georgetown. Hawks will be back at home for former conference rival Albany, then a 2-game road trip with a bye week in between at Montana, at Wagner. Big South action starts on October 12th with Presbyterian, followed by Gardner-Webb. Monmouth now just has one thing in mind: ball security. Get a first down here, and that essentially wraps the game up. Hasn't been easy, and certainly I think if you're Monmouth, you'll look back at this game and probably realize you made it much harder on yourself with the blocked punt, the turnover from Jones, but give a lot of credit to Lafayette. Still on the up and coming with third-year coach John Garrett. They just refused to go away, and that was something obviously that we had talked about. 3rd and 2. A Lafayette team that will play hard. Here's Jones for the first down. He's got it. 4-yard pickup. That's going to be enough for Monmouth to put this one away. Scott right up the middle at that H-back position, helping lead the way. Now Monmouth will take their time in between plays. Jones on the direct snap. Up limping a little bit. We did not see that Wildcat look at all until the 4th quarter, until that 4th down in which Monmouth coaching staff electing to go for it. Certainly a little bit of a gamble. Play clock down to 10. Monmouth does have 2 timeouts remaining. Not that they will want to stop the clock, but if they need to. Right to the 35-yard line. The carry for Guerrero. Some smiles on the sideline for Monmouth, who will pick up their first win of the year. Final snap here coming. And Kenji Bahar handles that for the 3rd straight year. It's a Monmouth win over Lafayette. Hawks won here in 2017, 31-12. Last year, 24-20 on the road. This year, a similar scoreline, 24-21. Hawks take the victory. It's exactly what you hope for after you lose the first game of the season. Figure out a way to avoid the 0-2 start. Doesn't always have to be pretty, and I'm sure Monmouth would admit that not the best of second halves, but enough to get the win. We've got some post-game interviews coming up for you in just a second. I'm waiting for players to go through handshakes. Coaches have already said their hellos. John Garrett with that Jersey Shore connection. Big day today for Lonnie Moore. He'll join Eddie Occhipinti in a second. 6 catches, 122 yards. Eddie Occhipinti, take it away.
Well, Matt, thank you very much. Here with Lonnie Moore. Lonnie, 6 grabs, 122 yards, a big first win. What did this mean to you and your teammates?
It really meant a lot to us. Coming off the tough game we had last week, it felt good just to get out here and get a W. I know it's still some things that we need to clean up, a lot of penalties and stuff, but we're just going to look at this as a building block, get on the film, and, get to it next week.
get a close game like this at home. Now, last time these two teams played close game on the road, what are the lessons you and your teammates want to take out of this one?
Well, Lafayette, the past couple years, they always play us really tough. So we came into this game knowing that it wasn't just going to be a walk in the park and that we were going to have to play really hard. So just knowing that we were able to accomplish that, come out with a win, it's a good building block, and we're just going to take it to the next level.
Some big plays in the passing game for you, Lonnie. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Lonnie Moore the fourth. A huge game for Monmouth. Lonnie, thank you so much. Lonnie out, Coach in after what was a 24-21 win over Lafayette. And, Coach, this was a close one throughout. Neither team could really separate. What were the biggest factors, in your opinion, for your team to win the game?
Well, you know, I thought going in at half when we went up, we scored that last touchdown, I thought that would be enough to create some separation. But we came out in the second half and, you know, just couldn't get things going on either side of the ball, really couldn't click. We were fortunate. We got the turnover down there in the end zone, which led to our, score down at the other end on the field goal, and that proved to be the difference. So huge kick by Matt Mascara.
Matt Mascara, you mentioned the Anthony Budd interception. How about your veteran running back, DeVell Jones? Fumbled, but then gets the big fourth down conversion, helps you salt the game away.
Yeah, we're not happy with the fumble, but he's the type of back that when we get into a situation like that, we believe he's got to be able to pick up that yardage for us. And that was a little bit of a dicey call down on the 30-yard line, going for it on 4th and 1, but it's something that we're committed to. And when we have DeVell running like that, we feel pretty confident that we can pick it up.
I wouldn't use dicey. I would say calculated gamble, Coach. Congratulations on this win. Good luck moving forward.
Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate it.
That's the head football coach here, Kevin Callahan. His 275th career game, Matt, is a win for Monmouth, 24-21 over Lafayette.
Right, Eddie, appreciate that. His 153rd victory. Let's take a look at the final numbers in this game. You can see for Monmouth, we just spoke to him, Lonnie Moore, a career high, the 122 yards. Pete Guerrero over 150 on the ground. Those usually are the elements that will get Monmouth the victory that they need. Lafayette certainly didn't make it easy. Give a lot of credit to Keegan Shoemaker in his first ever start, 20 of 32, 256 yards, 2 touchdowns, a bright future, one would think, for the freshman from Texas. Hawks with the big first half, 21 points. They add 3. Matt Mascara with 3 field goals on the day. Big plays from both teams all the way around, but Monmouth just enough to pick up the win. For Eddie Occhipinti and our entire crew, I'm Matt Harmon. We say so long from West Long Branch, New Jersey. Your final score one more time, Monmouth 24, Lafayette 21. All games airing on the ESPN networks or streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Thanks as always for joining us from the Jersey Shore. The Hawks get the victory, go to 1-1 of the season. Lafayette falls to 0-2. Monmouth 3 points better. Final score one more time, 24-21.